no one volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
Okay.
former Catholic, can confirm, not a
It's an
soul.
it's an awkward silence before the priest goes, "Blah, you do it."
Um, Tyler, can you stream check for me and just make sure it's picking up my mic?
Yes, I can. I'm loading in right now.
Okay. I'll just do the recap because it's not super important for it to catch me. So the group teleports into Kalimshan and realizes that we're in a stone room that is sealed and doesn't have much air. Gretna uses stone shape to get us out, and we immediately step out into a desert. Right outside are two mage towers that appear to be locked in battle, as they are throwing spells at one another. The party collectively decides not to deal with that and goes the other way around the corner very quickly to avoid it. Shakulu walks ahead and comes across a caravan of refugees who explain that the city is currently mostly locked down due to some kind of attack. Shakulu and Sio give the group some gold as payment and move toward the gate to the city, which is guarded. The main guard starts speaking to us, asking who we were and where we came from since we are not approaching from the docks. Unfortunately, Max is not able to convince the man that the party will not start any trouble. Pen walks up to attempt to convince him, but Shakulu interrupts and bribes the guide with 10 gold to let us pass, which he does. Upon entering the city, everyone sees an extravagant marketplace with shockingly clean walls. The group is attracting looks, so they decide to head to the inn. As Max tries to open the door, he is whisked away. The inn he goes to is the Mystic Inn, which seems to have some kind of extremely expensive magic to make the rooms incredibly fancy. The rooms get paid for, with Shakulu and Max each being given a crystal key, which has a combination of tones for the assigned door. Only they can use the keys to their assigned rooms. Everyone splits off to take showers before convening in the main room to divvy up the party gold for a shopping trip. A random person approaches the party and asks why they're in the city, to which Umbra responds in Thieves' Cant asking what he's doing. The man responds in Thieves' Cant as well, saying that they shouldn't use that language. He says if we don't know what's going on, then we don't have to make it our business, but if we see Artemis and Trary, we should let him know. The man goes by the name of Jackal and is apparently staying in the same inn as us. Sio returns to the room to get Erastus, only to find Erastus mildly intoxicated after eating a bunch of strawberries in the hotel room. Sio then has a conversation with Max while Erastus is getting dressed. Sio holds Max's hands to reassure him that things will be okay, and Erastus breaks up the hand holding, then runs away. Erastus runs to some kind of pool and starts performing for money. When Max comes upon the scene, he sees a crowd around Erastus and also a child in the crowd pickpocketing other people. When the child sees he's been spotted, he bolts. Max decides to move past this and head towards the clothing store that was recommended to him. The clothes there are extremely well made and also extremely expensive. Shakulu also wants clothes, so he goes to the cheaper clothing store and negotiates with the ogre merchant there. Umbra walks into an arcane shop and talks with the merchant about purchasing paper and ink for spell copying. Umbra, however, doesn't have the gold on him and goes to Gretna for the gold, but Gretna left the bag in the hotel room, so Max and Pan will have to return for it.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. So, that's fine. We can, if you want, I know Shakulu at the very end, we were going through, you had some shopping stuff. And I think that's where we stopped it. Do you remember exactly where we left off at the very end?
I had gotten some fine clothes from this large gentleman, and that was pretty much it. I sent you a DM with the stuff I wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I got a set of traveling clothes and a set of fine clothes. It was far cheaper.
Yeah. That's exactly. And that was in here. So let's start right from there, and then we can start here. So.
All right.
I'm guessing when Max and Umbra went back, I stayed to watch Erastus because Sio had left and had asked Max to watch her, but then Max had to leave, so I'm just standing there watching Erastus.
Yeah, so Erastus, why don't you give us an update, I guess, on what you're doing?
Oh, no.
Thank you, Gretna.
Thank you, Gretna.
We left the store heading for Erastus.
Yep.
Yeah, Erastus is going to finish his little dance and pick up a couple of the copper and just go, "Thank you," and then he's gonna start walking away down the street.
I follow. Suspiciously.
And he's just gonna seemingly walk around for a little bit. Yeah, he's still got 3 more of those strawberries, so he's gonna keep eating them.
Oh. Oh no.
Yep. All right.
Make,
What's
That's-
everyone else doing?
make sure you don't lose him, Gretna. Otherwise, I feel like someone's going to be having turtle soup for dinner.
Otherwise,
Yep.
we're playing.
Someone
just keep
someone
watching.
give the man an award. That's the 50th time that joke's been made.
Jesus Christ.
It's either
Drunken
that or
turtle
we're gonna
soup.
play hot and cold as Theo tries to message him and Erasmus just says warmer, colder.
Yeah, me
That's
and
how
Kenneth
he's
talked
playing
about what was gonna happen when she looked for her ass. Hot and cold.
I feel like at this moment, because Max had approached Theo saying she could go, buy whatever she needed and he would watch Erasmus. So, um, she just wanted to go through the market, see if they had any sweets, specifically Cinnabons that she knows Erasmus likes, as well as any fruit that kind of piqued Kiri's interest since he probably hasn't had a really nice meal in who knows how long. And then she wanted to look for some fine thread that she could weave into bracelets and some charms to go with it. And that was it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll have you over here. We will bring you over to the main market. All right. So so when you do get over here, Sio, the first thing that you notice is as soon as you start getting into the main market area, um, here he does start going crazy. He's like, "Oh, look, this is what?" And he gets out of your like he actually gets out. If you want him to stay in, you're gonna have to like struggle with him because
Oh,
there's a bunch of like sweets and other things that he's very very interested in over in this section here.
is he invisible or is he
No,
just.
he's
Oh
so
no.
yeah, he's so preoccupied that he doesn't remember to go invisible.
Sio will quickly follow behind him and will telepathically tell him if he wants to walk around, he needs to be invisible because not nice people might try to take him home with them, thinking
Yep.
he is a stray.
Yeah, go ahead and do a perception check too, just to see if
Oh
anyone saw
no.
him.
Oh man. Okay. 14.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It looks like no one's actually noticed. Everyone's really really busy. It is a packed market and everyone's very busy going through and haggling and doing their own things. Um, there are there are these fruit over in this section here, right there, that Kiri is incredibly interested in, and he telepathically tells you, he's like, no, but those are the ones that I had when we were like really stuck, and these are the things that made me happy, and I really really need one.
She'll just smile and go over to him and just pet him as she starts. She'll probably get 5 just to make sure that Kiri has enough to kind of calm him down. So she'll get 5 of those.
Yeah, and they're pretty cheap.
And
They're only 4 silver apiece.
okay. Then yeah, she'll get those. And if there are any other like cinnamon based sweets or like any collection of sweets, kind of like a variety box situation, she'll also get those and Cinnabons, and anything else that kind of piques Kiri's interest. Um, Not looking for anything particular, just trying to find something she thinks Erasmus would like and that Kiri would like. And potentially the rest of the party if there's like a large enough quantity.
Yeah, so there's not any of like the Cinnamon things that you were finding in like Luskin or even Waterdeep, but they do have a really so you talk to one of the merchants and he's basically says, oh yeah, these are our kind of capital city specialty food, and he's like going through and trying to sell you on it. You get the impression that you're probably paying too much for these things as they are half a gold a piece, but he's not budging on the price. And what they are is it's a very sweet confection that looks like it's made out of honey. It's got a bunch of spices and other things built into it, so it is actually like a little spicy. And he warns you of this, but it's a cake that's circular, that's been baked, and it has a filling of nuts and some other things. And he tells you that this will be better than that.
Is it like a whole cake or kind of the individual
No, it's like a
cake
small mini cake. Each one is like a small mini cake. Exactly. Yeah, they're small. They're around the size of like a cupcake.
Okay. Um,
Yep.
I feel like Seal would get one, and then whoever in the party wanted to try it, she'll just split it because she is not going to dip into the party fund, so she's strictly using the money she has on her. So she would get that along with the 5 little berries that Kiri wanted. Um, and if that's all they have here, besides sweets, she'll kind of just go wander around, look for those sweets, and look for the material to weave bracelets and like any little charms that might suit
Yep.
the
Now,
project. she's
as you're
working
doing this, we're going to use your perception check. So as you're going around, and by the way, you are able to find those things, and for a total, it's only 1.5 gold total that you'll have to take out. But you do also, it sticks out because there's this maybe dwarf, maybe gnome. You're not exactly sure because he disappears in the crowd. But there is this small man with golden armor with a bunch of things like intertwined in them, and it's the only other armor you've ever seen like this ever that comes close to this, and it's not the same because it does have gears in it and other things, is Erastus's armor. And he kind of disappears in the crowd, but he also has a mechanical dog with him. That's the only thing
Huh.
of note that you find. It's a small guy with some very strange, maybe brass, maybe gold armor with a mechanical dog.
Interesting. Would she have seen this as she's walking back to the group, or as she's still looking
Correct.
for her?
Correct. And if you want to stop and try to track this person, you will have to make another perception check, and then we can see if you can tell where they're going, if you care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is just interested enough, and we are taking some downtime. So I feel like she'd at least try to find them in a crowd.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
It's another 14.
Okay. Yeah, so you actually do notice that it looks like he travels all the way over here. It looks like this is some kind of bar or inn or tavern or something in this direction. And he's in this building. For now.
Okay.
He's here.
I feel like Sio would
He does
quickly
draw
pull-
attention too. Other people are looking at him
Oh.
like, "What the hell are you?" And like, "What is that thing that you've got with you?" It is for sure though a mechanical dog built very similarly as like you've kind of seen Bimmy.
Oh yeah. No, Sia would definitely. She'd probably go up under the tree and kind of stand there for a moment, just sorting the money back into her coin purse, putting everything back in her bag. And she would shoot Erasmus a quick message in her book and tell him that there seems to be a rather ornately dressed artificer in town if he would like to talk shop with someone who would comprehend it. I don't know if Erasmus will respond to that, but she's going to do the courteous thing and tell
Yeah,
him.
yeah, of course. Yep. Yep.
Chris, I messaged you.
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
Never a good sign.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Yeah. Yep.
And I
Yeah.
just wanna,
No, that's totally fine.
I want
Gre-
to turn around and see Gretna following me, and
Yeah.
then he just starts running.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this too, Gretna. What's your passive perception?
My passive is 15.
Yeah, so you do notice. So this is what you notice. You notice that Erastus is doing something with carts, but you don't actually see what he's doing because his body's so big that you can't get around him. You're gonna have to like actively intervene. But he does this quick enough, and then he just runs off. Yeah.
What's his speed?
30.
Oh yeah. You're gonna be able to catch up to him.
Well, mine's 25, so I'll be able to run, but I won't be able to catch
Yep.
up with him.
Yep.
You don't
Well, I
want
mean,
to do this, Twaddle.
I mean, if he's stopping doing
I
stuff, you'll
do.
probably catch him.
Keep
Yeah.
in mind, Gretna has hold person.
I have flash of genius.
Unfortunately, not at the moment.
Oh, that's why I assumed you'd be able to catch up with him. By the way, Gretna. But yeah, so if you want, I mean, if so Erastus, are you running Erastus?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're running. Are you running after him, Gretna?
Yeah, I
Okay.
told the dead him.
What?
That's
Oh,
yeah. Toll the
I'm
Dead
not-
is so
I'm not
so you
hurt,
know.
it does no damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you Toll the Dead Erastus, just understand that Toll the Dead is enough damage. Now to Erastus, you know this wouldn't do, but if you were to Toll the Dead and do it decently on a normal person, just understand that would outright probably kill them. If it would also severely hurt them. So you know that's a pretty aggressive thing. But yeah,
I also know everybody's gonna hear it.
that is right. So
Bing.
okay, so you do it. You go ahead and cast Toll of the Dead. You're going to be in within range, or acid. So I assume it probably won't even get past your force shield, but you do have to roll damage.
I'm not.
Well, wisdom.
I'm
It's
at
a
max.
wisdom 17 saving throw, so he's probably gonna pass it.
Well, it's
Yep.
if they have taken damage, which I have not.
If you take damage, it's a D12. If you haven't, it's a D8. You still
Right,
take damage.
that's right.
It's still a
Yeah,
save.
you still
Okay.
take damage. You still take damage. Yeah.
It's just you take
Okay.
less.
Yeah.
that's
I
good.
knew I should
Which
have
is
been the
why,
one to
which is
stay
why
with
this
the
will
rest of
this
us.
will normally kill. Like if
Yeah.
Dreadnought would ever do this on a commoner, they're dead, for the most part. But yeah.
Okay, so say wisdom.
But yes, everyone will hear this. So
8.
and I know. So Gretna, I'll let you. So you fail. So Gretna, I'll let you go ahead and tell us what you do and how this all works.
I go, still, don't do it, Turtle. Don't run. And he keeps running.
Yep.
I can't catch up with him. I have 25. I'm like starting to
Yep.
run. I can't catch up with him. So yeah.
Leave me alone, short lady.
Oh. Oh.
Oh
No.
no.
Anyway.
So as you do this, and go ahead and give us the description of your Toll of the Dead too, Gretna.
Well, to me it's like a bell. It's just
is,
like
yeah.
it's just like a sound wave around him, like a bell hitting over his head. It just like pong.
And as you do this, everyone
Oh,
within almost
that
100
would-
mile, like not 100 mile, within
100
100
miles.
foot radius. Yeah, 100
Oh,
miles. 100 foot radius also startles, looks directly at Erasmus, this running turtle, who they believe, by the way, is making this sound, Erasmus. So everyone's looking at you right now. Although they do see this very thing, and it does draw attention. Like this is definitely like a scene at this point.
And by the
How
way,
did,
I don't have a force field because my armor is not up. I am in
Yep.
regular turtle mode.
Alright,
so
so
I do
yeah, you do
2d12 damage to him. And
Yeah.
how do I do that again? Just
Just you can actually just roll the 2d12, or I can roll it too.
roll it.
Is
Go
it-
ahead.
Yeah, cool. What's
Mhm.
is it a modifier as well, or is it just 2d12?
Oh,
No, it's just 2d12.
Yes.
Gretna, I hope you understand. This means war.
Alright, so
Yeah, take it up with
alright,
CO.
so you do 18 points of damage to
please don't
Erasmus.
take it up with
So
CO.
Oh, that's a lot.
I feel
Wait,
like the
is it-
sound waves and Erasmus being drunk would like really disorientate him.
Erasmus, this is
it a
enough
D-
damage, by
wait,
the
wait,
way.
hold on a second. Is it a D12 because I'm at max health? I thought it was an 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's-
Is it a
It's
D8?
D8s? Oh, sorry.
Oh
sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is
two
right.
D8s.
It's a
Okay,
D8
yeah,
when you're taking
he's-
What
damage.
if it's
right.
more? What if it's more?
No, it's 10. Okay, so you take 10. So 10
That's
points
a
of damage
lot.
is still significant. So yeah, this rips through you. You definitely feel this. You're gonna have to stop in your tracks for a second. Shocked more and surprised that Gretna would probably do this.
I keep
And
running.
And everyone around you like hears this. Everyone's like focused on you now. You already see, by the way, as this happens, you already see several men that look like they're elderly that were shopping have now started to like walk in your direction. They are clearly armed. There's around 8 or 9 of them.
Help me! Help me! I'm
Yep.
bleeding. Help me!
God.
Yep. Yeah, so they do start to surround you, Erasmus. They do have curved swords. They look like they could theoretically be with some kind of like city affiliation. You're not exactly sure. Greta, you obviously see all this as well.
I run up to him.
I'm gonna-
I just keep.
yep.
I do my best anyway to run up to him.
Yep. I'm gonna actually get our miniatures here too. Cool.
Chris, I just have a quick question about the key, right? So
Sounds like fucking-
is it me that has to use it, or can anyone use it?
You would have to use it. It has to be you. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yep.
can't find my mini. I think I'm in the pyramid still.
That might be true here. Let's
I
see.
think we
You
might
are.
actually be back at the caravan. Because
Yeah.
I was
No, I'll get you. Don't worry. I've got you guys. Here, we'll
yeah,
set it up.
I was
real
about to say
quick.
because I did not have Tailspire last week, nor did Gage, so that checks out.
Yeah, I'll put you guys back. Don't worry. So here we go, Gretna. So so you guys are over here, up in this direction here. So all right. So Erasmus, this is where you got hit. Gretna, you're running up to him here,
Mhm.
and now there are several of these. They're kind of hooded. They actually are wrapped in like clothing, but they are walking up. They're walking up to both of you, obviously. Let me get these guys up for you. Obviously, they don't look exactly like these models here, but they are starting to surround you. And they're all looking. I mean, they don't have they don't have like their actual
Holy
like hands
shit,
on their
there's a
swords
lot
or
of these
anything.
guys.
Yeah, there's around 8 of them. And so Gretna, they've now started to come up here too, and they just say, "Well, wait," and they expect you to stop Erasmus.
Are you wait, me?
And they look around and they say, "Uh, listen, sir, no magic allowed within the city. Number one. Number two, what on earth was that?"
Oh, uh, uh, uh.
Brenna,
That was
you're
what
running up.
happens when a very naughty boy tries to run away.
Hey, shut up! You're not my mom.
They look at you. They look at you, Greta, and they say, "Miss, excuse me." They say, what is this?"
I'm just supposed to watch him.
And while they're looking at her, I just start inching backwards, taking steps backwards.
Yeah. And they say, listen, this is your only warning. No magic within the city limits. You understand me?"
Yeah, no, yeah. It's not magic, it's science. And then I'm just gonna have Bimmy recreate the sound that he heard, and he's just gonna go ding dong.
See, he said, no, listen.
It's
And
science.
they look between each other, and he says, "This is just like that small little devil man back in the other thing." He's like, listen, we don't care if it's magic or science. You are not going to do something that's going to break the peace, and I mean it. And they start, and you can tell they mean it. You can tell they're actually getting annoyed at this point.
Okay, we won't break the peace, but can I just go change my tire? I have to carry this tire. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they look at, but they
Bye.
look back at you, Gretna, and they say, if this animal is yours, or you are its keeper,
I,
I want you to understand that this is your last warning.
okay, goodbye.
Now, what's interesting, Gretna, there's a couple things that are interesting about this exchange. First and foremost, you're surprised by how they sound, because you expected them to sound more foreign, because there is a foreign accent that's going through the crowd that is not like these guys. These guys
Mhm.
actually sound more like they're from like a dale somewhere than
Mm.
they're actually from like Calimport. So it is interesting in that respect, but they are gonna for whatever reason they do expect you to follow this.
I am a law-abiding person.
I've snuck
I
away.
a
That's
devout
fine.
follower of Tyr. But I want to understand what you mean by no magic, because everywhere I look, I see magic.
He said, "Well, Miss, the citizens are not allowed to do magic. Understand? It's not the city itself, of course, is allowed to do whatever it wants, but the citizens cannot do magic."
And what is the punishment? I
He
come
said,
from Othkatla. I'm not a stranger to punishment for magic.
and as you say that, another individual walks up, heavily armored individual, completely decked out in plate mail, and he says, "Oh, excuse me, what is going on here?" And these guys literally start to disperse as if they were never talking to you,
I'll be right.
and go off and do their own thing. And he says, he actually says, oh, and then he doesn't say anything. He actually lets them go, and then he walks up to you, Gretna, and he says, "Madam,
Sir?
can you give me an explanation?"
For what?
Well, first off, what were those men doing bothering you?
They were telling me I can't do magic or I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble.
That's a half truth. But did they hustle you for money or any of the less? He says, we.
Oh, they could have tried. No, they did not.
I see.
They told me
I
if I
see.
did magic again, it was my last warning. They were saying they were. I thought they were soldiers.
Yeah, this city is complicated. I'm also, by the way, commissioned from the Royal Guard. But if anyone comes up to you, especially someone that doesn't have Calimport's royal signet, you don't have to listen to them. That said, they are there. That is half truth. You do need to be careful with in doing magic in the city, especially magic that might hurt other individuals. Why were you casting on that turtle man?
Because he's running away, and his I don't know exactly what you'd call it, sister or something, told me I had to watch him because he's drunk. And he was running away from me, and I was
and
trying to make him stop. Because I
and
can't look at my legs. I can't catch him. And now he's gone.
And I'm gone.
he says, I see. He says, well, just understand in the future that could cause complications for you. So I'm very busy myself, but understand that if you do cast magic like that, and I'm doing this as a favor because I actually expected that you were some kind of priest or priestess, but
Mhm.
regardless, yes, Tyr, interesting. But regardless, just do yourself a favor and be safe. And he starts walking down.
Do you happen to know which way the turtle went?
Yeah, he waves you off as if he doesn't.
Damn it.
Hey, Chris, I messaged you again.
All right, cool.
Oh no.
All right, and while this is happening, what's everyone else doing, by the way?
Chris, would I have been able to see any of this go on in kind of the direction he was going while I was coming back from the magic shop?
Not necessarily, but do me a favor. You would have heard the sound though, so go ahead and do a perception check, and then we'll find out. So once you heard the sound, I'll give you a perception check, and if it's high enough, then you'll be able to.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
stuck
don't.
away while
I
the
don't.
torch while.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I would have also been with Umber because we would have been walking back towards Max, wherever he is.
Yeah, you can do a perception check
Alone.
as well. You can do a perception check
Yeah.
as well.
Could CEO as she's just out shopping, or no?
23.
You would hear it too. Yeah. So go ahead and show us where you are, Arasis, or the general direction you were heading.
Would Max also hear
I'm
it?
looking for the thing I messaged you about.
Right. Okay. So hold on 1 second.
Well, I mean, I go in the last place that it would have been 25 feet up. I go, because that's as good as I can do.
Would Max have heard
I
it as well?
definitely have a good little head start here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, ultimate chaos.
All right. So yeah. So Arasis, if you show us where your mini is, let's see, right around. So you would know he's in like this general direction. Pan. And you can tell that to Umber as well.
Yeah.
As this is going, by the way, as this is going on, CO, what were you doing? Were you walking back?
Yeah, I would have waited a few minutes for Rassus to respond to my message. And when he doesn't, I don't think Sia would be alarmed. I think she would be under this impression he's still performing. So
Yep.
at that, I think she would probably just walk back in the general direction she thinks Erastus was in last, not
Yeah, and-
really thinking anything ill.
Yeah,
yet.
and Arasis and Gretna, the reason why this wasn't a severe event was because the city is also incredibly noisy, and all it was a bell sound. So the only people that even really knew what was going on were the people that were right there, which must have been the guy that was talking to Gretna and then whoever those other people were. That said, obviously any visual spell you would both know now through common sense that any visual spell is going to draw attention.
Mm-hmm.
Once Pan points him out to me, I can move 90 feet a turn. Can I intercept him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to outrun the
As
rogue.
a slightly frantic dwarf comes waddling up from behind.
Yeah. Gretna will catch up with you soon too. So
I'm gonna
I've been
get in
running
front of
away
him.
this whole time. Like I don't know how.
yeah,
you can
Gretna,
catch up
you
to
have a
me.
really good start through Gretna. So Gretna, it's gonna take Gretna 45 seconds from this thing to get to where you are. So
I'm just gonna say, wait, Erastus. Wait, hold on.
Nope.
I'll help you.
Let me help you.
Let me
Let me
help
tell
you.
you something.
Running away. Where would I find the thing, Chris?
So there's none in this direction here, but as you were going through and looking, because you're just like looking for these in general, you would know that that thing that you're looking for is going to be over in the corner where my stream is.
Sweet.
Does
I'll
he
go
have
But
the
there.
armor
it's
up
gonna
right
take
now?
it's gonna take a while to
No.
No.
get there, but yeah.
No, I'm still just running through town carrying this wagon wheel.
Yep.
Uh,
So you're running through town, kind of like very. I guess it looks like you're on a mission for this.
Yeah,
Are you laughing or just very serious about this?
kind of giggling
Okay.
slightly.
All right.
as he runs by me,
So
can I
great,
try?
So great.
Can I try? I'm gonna pull out a dagger. Can I cut the bag off of him as he runs by? In like one motion, I want to just cut the strap.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be opposing him taking a dagger to what looks like he's stabbing me.
Yeah, no, of course, and not only that. So here's the complication. So there are no called shots at all. However, I do allow stuff like this, but you have to understand it's not balanced. We just have certain DCs for these things. This is actually an alternate rule in the DMG as well. If you want to do specific narrative things, there is a rule for this. Just understand that these are not easy things to do. But absolutely, Erasmus, since you don't, it's not actually hitting your AC since he's not going for your armor. So there's nothing to oppose, but the chances of you doing this are not great. But go ahead and roll.
Would I be close enough to see this happening if I'd been? I only have 30
Oh
feet.
my god. It's
Well, no. So no, I was gonna say no. If he's using his full movement, you're close enough to maybe like see it, but you're not anywhere close enough to like you wouldn't. You'd still be like 60 feet away essentially.
60 feet. Okay. Can I Bardic Inspiration Umbra then?
Is it D8?
Well, it's so if you trust that Umbra's not going to like kill him or whatever, I guess if you instinctively trust Umbra with this, then sure.
I think instinctively I know that Umbra can't kill him.
Yeah.
feel
If
like
you think
everyone's
that
more-
Umbra's not doing a bad thing and going through it, and that's what, and you feel that way, then sure. Of
If
course you
Umbra
could,
was
yeah.
going to try to kill Erasmus, it wouldn't be a dagger.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's fair then. Yeah. So go ahead.
12.
Okay. You go by. You try to like cut the thing. Doesn't even come close. It doesn't hit you either, Erasmus. You try your
fucking
best, but yeah.
Repulsion shield. I'm knocking him away 10 feet.
I'm easily gonna just follow him through the city because I have 90 feet of movement.
Yeah, I'm just knocking
Okay,
back.
but
the
you
feet
do.
on your
Yeah,
ass.
you do knock him. You do knock him through, and then he just.
And I was gonna
runs
say,
away.
leave me alone, and I'm just gonna run away.
Yep.
And and I find my thing over here in the corner.
So it's in my stream. If you look, they're over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna tuck the dagger away as soon as I get pushed back, so it doesn't look like I was trying to kill him.
Sure, of course. Yep.
I will scream for help. And
Alright.
I'm going to as I run around a corner and get away from Umbra, I'm going to turn invisible.
Okay, cool, awesome.
And then I'm going to do the thing in the corner, and then I'm just going to start laughing, and I'm sure they'll hear me.
Yep.
And be able to find me, and I will return visible after I do it.
Yep.
I don't know what any of that was, so I would
So
be
you guys,
following
yeah,
him.
you guys, all you see is Erasmus just laughing.
Well,
You can do
me before you saw me.
yeah, you can do a perception check to try to put two and two together, but
Oh, and yeah, and the extra that I
I'm doing
removed,
so bad.
the extra that I removed, I'm just gonna throw into the bag.
okay.
I like to think Sio is just enjoying her stroll back to Erasmus where he was performing, not really paying attention to anything that's transpired.
Yeah, we'll cover that whenever anyone finds me, but I'm just gonna sit here giggling.
I'm giving up and going to the nearest tavern.
If I don't see him, I'll use a spell slot to cast Detect Magic.
No, he became visible again. He said so.
Oh, never mind.
Well, my armor would still glow.
Yeah.
And all the magic items I have on me.
Erasmus, I just need. Can I just borrow? I just need one of the gemstones.
Did you see it?
I did. Thank you. I just
What
need one gemstone. Look, you can do whatever you're doing. I need one gemstone
I
because
already did it, Umbra.
I
Did you see
yes.
it?
Yeah. So Umbra, if you look around,
That
what?
wheel, that
Yeah.
wheel is an eighth of an inch smaller than the other 3 wheels.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yes.
god.
They're gonna have
Wonderful.
a slight. They're gonna have a slight wobble.
Okay, wonderful. I need a gem.
I hate this.
Oh, that's sad. He doesn't care.
Oh, it's so funny. He's gonna have a very slight wobble that he'll never be able to figure out.
Look, unlike you, Erasmus, I have things that I really want to get to right now. So I really want to get some paper to help everyone because I have.
You got
I
any
mean, you can help me.
strawberries?
I will get you some. I'll trade you. Okay. I'll get you
Where's
1,000 gold worth of strawberries if you give me the gem.
What, Jim?
The what?
What?
Please.
Just
Excuse me
just
asking you nice.
curious, Umbra. Have you been back to the inn yet to get the money?
No, we had to meet up with you for the key.
I physically
Okay.
can't get into the room without you.
That's right.
Okay. And
Yeah.
we haven't. Have we met up yet?
I thought you already
No.
did that. That's why I was watching Erasmus.
Yeah.
No. So they were. So no. So last
Well,
session.
I thought that was the plan. Like,
Yeah, the plan
That
was
they
was.
that
needed me
That
to
was.
go.
Yeah, that was. We just literally started where Shakula had just like bought his stuff. That was totally the plan, though.
the plan
then
was
all
going to
this
be that
happened.
we were going to meet up with you to
so
go back
I-
to the hotel room, but then we had to chase Erasmus through the fucking city because he decided to do
So,
wheel
so I
shenanigans.
would
I
believe
want to do
Umbra.
roleplay things, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
me
Yeah,
too.
okay.
I want
I'm
that.
just trying to figure out what sort of timeline we're on.
No, of course. So this is what ended up happening. So Shakulu, just as Shakulu had purchased the stuff, that is at the same time what was happening. If you remember, right before that, that was when Umbra was trying to buy his gems and paper, but he didn't have the actual crystal. So all this is happening at once. All the gems. So all this is happening at exactly the same time. He goes outside, hears Toll of the Dead, essentially. And that's when Shakulu saw that too, and that's when Gretna was doing everything. So there's been no time yet to like go back and meet up with anything. But you guys can of course do that once we
Okay, so
resolve this.
I would be with Umbra then at this
Right.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I probably
Yeah,
would
you
have
can be
checked
there.
out for Erasmus.
Max,
Yep.
can you please help me? Look, Erasmus, I just want one thing. You
Max,
can
did
you
you
can do
see-
whatever you want. You can do whatever you want afterwards. I came for one gem. That's it. I'm not here to turn you into Gretna. I'm not here to stop you. I'm not here to sober you up. I'm literally just here for a gem, okay? I'm on your side.
Oh, you want something?
I just want one gem. That's it. Okay?
Okay.
You're free to go afterwards.
Which gym do you want? I got a bunch of them, but it's pretty
One-
par for the course. You want something from Olorastus?
One of the sapphires.
The pillows? The pillow rocks? I can use a nap.
Here, can I see? I know what I'm looking for.
Here. Okay, you can have one. Bring me back the change. And
Yes, absolutely. Thank
I'll
you.
fish in the bag, and I'm gonna give you a biscuit.
Erasmus,
Where did
you
he
know
go?
where I
Alright.
used you know where I
Yeah.
used to live, and this is somehow worse than that. This
No,
is
it's great.
somehow
It's
so
great
much
here.
worse.
It's great.
It's really
I've been here.
stale.
Here, sapphire, and I'll give him a sapphire.
Thank
Put
you.
a
Bring me
sapphire
back the
in the biscuit.
change.
Okay. I'm going to gingerly put the biscuit back in the bag, and I'm just going to
Well,
very.
harumph to you too, sir. I made
I'll
that
be back for it.
special.
Look, I'll be back for it. Keep it safe, Max. Keep an eye on him, and I will head back to get Pan, and to the room to get the gold, and then back to the magic shop.
I got 10
Well,
more of those
so,
suckers.
need
To get the
Max.
gold,
You need
to get the
Max.
gold, you need Max. Yeah. So
Max
don't
is the
forget
only
him
one who
because otherwise
knows
you can't get in.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Chris,
Let's
Goodbye,
just see if I can sort out Erasmus first.
Goodbye, nerds.
would
Yep.
Sio at this point have returned to the area
Yeah.
where she remembered Erasmus being?
Yeah, not only that, at this point, I'll even let you catch up. Like if even though you wouldn't necessarily be able to see this, there's enough commotion and stuff that if you want to, you can catch up with them.
Yeah.
Erasmus,
She would
can you just Erasmus, can you come back with us? I'm sure we're trying to keep an eye on you because you're not in your right mind. And believe me, I would know you're quite a smart guy, but right now you're acting pretty foolish. And
Having fun. I never get to have fun.
Chris, how private is this alley?
you're causing a
Not private at all.
commotion.
No. It's filled with people. I just can't put them in because it would slow down things too much.
Good.
But there's hundreds of people around.
You're
All the
causing a
city is mostly
commotion.
busy.
You're
They
causing a
did.
commotion, and
They'll never know, Max. But he'll know, and I point to the owner of the wagon.
can you just come back with us? I'm sure Sio's back from her shopping trip anytime now, and she's probably worried about you.
I feel like as if on cue, Sio kind of just wandered over and sees you guys talking to Erasmus sitting in between stalls. Oh, there you are. I was wondering where you went off to.
Yeah, he
Did you see? Did you see it?
Did I see what? I saw an artificer. I don't know if you got my message though.
What?
Yeah, he has a dog, like a sizable dog companion, and his armor it's gold. It's not like yours, but it's pretty ornate. I think I remember where he's at if you want to go speak to him.
Like, what?
just quickly go over to Sio. Can I leave him in your hands now? Umbra needs my assistance.
Of course.
What
He
was Lee's,
hasn't
what was
been a
Lee's character's
handful.
name? Tyler, Amanda, what was Lee's character's name again?
Abel.
Abel.
Abel. Cool. I just cannot remember that for any reason right now.
You're unable.
I was unable. I will say like Abel?
Max, you can leave him with me. Thanks for watching him for me, but I'm done with my shopping for now, so I'll go with Erasmus to
That
see if we
blue
can chat up this
motherfuckers.
artificer. And she'll just give you a smile, Max, and just nod to you, and she'll look back to Erasmus. No, I think they were a gnome, or maybe they were partially gnome. I'm not quite sure, but I think I remember where they're at, but it wasn't Abel. I feel like I
Where's
would know him
Abel?
out of a crowd. Huh?
Where is Abel?
I imagine with
I'll
Tino
just
and Umbra?
say to Sio. So I'm just gonna head back to the inn, get some gold for Umbra's purchase, and then we're heading to that magic shop, and then I think we'll reconvene there or at the inn. So
Okay. I'll
I'm gonna
just
pop
message
another
you and see where
strawberry.
you're at.
yeah, just keep an eye on him. He seems to have more of those strawberries. So
Oh. Oh no. Oh, Erasmus, that does remind me. Oh, is Umbra still here?
No, he left.
Yes, hello, I'm right here. Down here.
Oh,
Oh.
he left.
I got these for you. And she's gonna pull out the cake that she had gotten, like the little cupcake.
What?
Well, and she's gonna hold it closer to her chest. Well, I'm going to split it. It was a little pricey, but it's apparently a regional delicacy. They said it's Calimport's finest. It's I guess something they're known for here in the city. And she'll just split the little cake in half and she'll hand it to Erasmus and then she'll turn to Umbra and hand the other half to him. Um I
I'd
I know
really
you said
love this.
Tovog wasn't
I want
a
more than
place
him.
that really
I want
had
more than him.
sweets. So I figured you might want to try it for the first time. A real sweet, not just prestidigitation, sugary sweet.
This looks amazing. Thank you so much.
I want more
Of
than him.
course.
Yep. So do you guys try it? Do you eat it, Umbra?
Yes.
Okay, so it's very, very good. It does have a custard-like filling. So when you split it open, you would have noticed the CO as well. But surprisingly, it's actually pretty firm. That custard is firm. It does melt in your mouth when you eat it, though. This is a spicier like cake. So even though it does have a honey and vanilla and it actually has a custard cream filling, it's actually spicy. So it does have this very like almost a little like intense nutmeggy spice taste to it, and it's unique in that respect. So it's a spicy kind of cake like dessert with a custard.
Why is it spicy?
Umbra's
It's
eyes are
very
gonna
good, though.
water as
It's
he's
very good.
just he loves this and he's just so happy.
Spice.
Oh, all right. Well,
I don't like spice.
okay. Sio will
This is
just fetch her
wonderful.
water skin, and she'll just hand it to Erasmus.
All right. Well, let's get this shopping venture over and done with, Umbra.
Yes. And you see all the stress of dealing with Erasmus just kind of melt away from Umbra after eating that. He's like, yes.
You said he was crying?
Yes.
And I'll eat my
Not
Umbra,
like crying, just like tearing up.
Umbra,
Tears
if
of
it's
joy.
that bad, you don't have to
No,
eat
it's
it.
it's like the best thing I've ever had.
That's sad.
Oh, okay.
Tears of joy, Sia.
Well,
Wonderful.
it's a nice change of pace. Well, you two get on. I'll be with Erasmus, and I'll message you. We'll maybe meet you at the magic shop
Yeah.
or back at the inn.
We're gonna go
Sure.
beat up a nerd. Seal, take me to this fella.
I'll take you if you'll hold my hand. And she'll just reach her hand down to you, because I imagine Erasmus was like crouching, dealing with this whole wheel. And so she's going to offer you her hand.
I'll eat my last strawberry and I will go
Without holding her hand?
with it, but the other hand's tucked into the pocket.
Okay. That is fine. And she will
His
lead you back
overalls.
to where she thinks this other artificer is.
Overhearing Erasmus
Yep.
sound like he's going to fight this guy, I'll just say, "Good luck,
I
Erasmus."
don't know. Is the nearest tavern the same place that
Max.
other?
Yeah,
fellow's in?
yeah. So it would be actually, yes. So basically, let me show you where you are, Gretna. You are going to be right
Beat up
here.
a nerd.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah. So, and instead of taking your miniature, I'm just going to add another one of you. It's going to be
Alright,
so many Gretnas. Yeah. All right. So you'll be
There's a
out here.
simulacrum of Gretna.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, all right. So, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do real quickly. We'll go ahead and do your thing first. You're coming with them, right, Max? This is going to be Umbra and Max, and I guess Pan.
I have to.
Sorry,
so yeah.
I've been moving my mini around. I'm trying to find them.
We would
yeah,
also I would ask Max to double back to find, and I have message too to make this a little bit easier. So I'll like
Yeah.
cover my mouth and the components and like duck behind something and cast message to find Pan. Just I'll start pointing in random directions.
Yeah, and you guys would know that the magic shop is right here anyway. So you would know the magic shop is here.
One thing when we get back to the Mystic Tavern.
Yep.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Mystic
Yep.
Inn.
The Mystic Inn.
Mystic Inn. I would go to what's his name? Xiles?
Yep.
Or something? Yep. And I would ask if he's able to give us a spare room key or simply make it also accessible to, say, Umbra to
He
use
does-
the key.
He does tell you that you can transfer the key's ownership. So you guys go back in. You see him. There's actually a way to summon him too. There's actually a small little crystal that's hanging out that he would have told you guys about. And this crystal is something you can literally just tap, and it's hanging in the middle of the room, and it's around like 5 feet up. And it's something you can literally just tap, and he'll come running over, and you do. And he says, "Oh, can I help you?"
Yes. We were just coming back from the town and realized that long story short, I need to be the one who opens up the rooms, and it's a bit more inconvenient than I thought it would be at first. So I'm wondering if we're able to get maybe a spare key, a second key, or maybe allow more than one person to use this key at once. Would that be possible? I'd be willing to pay extra for it if that's needed.
He says, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Well, there are a couple solutions. Some are more expensive than others, but here's how this works. And he shows you that the key itself is attuned to the actual. He goes over and he unlocks it, and he explains that these are attuned to very specific demiplanes, and there's a limited number of them. The only way is to transfer ownership of the key to one person or to have everyone else pay for separate rooms, which he's willing to do. He's willing to take your price and redo that if everyone takes separate rooms, and then of course you can all have your key. But that's really the only ways to do this. Or he can transfer the key's ownership to another individual. Like if you just want Umber to have it, he could certainly do that.
So if we went with the separate rooms, I wouldn't have to pay anything because I've already paid for it, technically.
Well, so if you go with the separate rooms, the only thing is you do get a discount for having that like massive room, and it would be slightly more money. Yeah. But
Hmm.
he said he said the easiest thing to do so that everyone doesn't have to move their stuff out of the room and go through it is to just he can transfer ownership to whoever needs it. It'll still be one person, but whoever needs ownership, he's more than willing to transfer the key to.
All right. Well, I'll keep ownership for now. Thank you for informing me.
He said, "No, of course, sir. Of course." He says, how are you enjoying your time in Calimport?"
It's very, very lovely. I've managed to order a new I guess you would say a new combat suit.
Oh, did you go with my suggestion?
Yes, I did. I went to that.
Oh,
What was the name of that shop I went to?
he says he
Oh,
actually
I'm asking you out of question, out of character.
Oh, out of character. Yeah, so that's so did he I don't think he told you, did he? I think he just showed you where it was and he said this was the most exclusive shop ever. And there is no sign on this and the owner didn't tell you either. When you get
Okay.
back to pick it up, you might want to ask him, but he says he says he says I am so impressed. He said and very jealous. You know that he only makes one usually for the day.
Yes, that's what he was doing with my order.
He says, did he actually close shop for you?
He said he would, so I assume as much.
He says, wow, I'm very impressed.
Yes. I have high hopes for my order.
And he says, so you are enjoying your time. Well, excellent, sir, excellent. If there's anything else you need from me, by all means, let me know.
I will do. Thank you very much.
Okay. And he goes off.
So you got the gold you need, Umbra?
Yeah, you can open the door and go through it and go back. Yeah.
Is this wise to leave this here? Should we take it with us? I don't know. Even though it's magical, I worry about just leaving it here.
Would you want to leave it in, say, my room or yours?
Yeah, if you.
An extra security of a demi plane, I guess.
Yes.
I'd say like the bag. Are we talking about the bag itself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
correct.
bag of holding.
We may just want to take it with us, especially if we're like buying things. We don't know if we might come across something that we want to put in the bag.
That's true. She has a good point.
Well, it is your guys' stuff, so I will leave it up to you.
I will reach into the bag and I will pull out 1,000 golds. He will go 1, 2, 3, and he will kind of have it in a little pouch that he puts in a little pocket on the inside of his cloak and ties up the cloak so it's really, really hard to get. And he will kind of look at everyone and go, okay, so Max, follow us to the magic pen. Do you think you can maybe talk the man into, I want to do a gem for all of the components we talked about before, and it should cover with a little bit extra, so that will cover the cost of processing.
Right, 900 exactly. Assuming he'll take it for what you think, that is correct. So he told you 900.
And if it ends up being a little bit more, I can. Yeah, and if it ends up being a little bit more, I can cover the difference with gold. Maybe.
Just to clarify, we thought it was 1,000 because Gretna priced it at that, right? 1,000.
She I don't think did price it. I think it was Erasmus.
Erasmus priced it?
Yeah, 22.
I think Erasmus did it with his jewelers too.
Yeah,
Mm.
I have proficiency with jeweler's kits, and I have expertise in a kit I'm proficient with. I got a 22 for it. I wrote that in my notes.
Yep. Yep.
He was
Okay.
relatively certain that it was
Yes.
around 1,000 gold.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I will kind of lead the way, kind of knowing that I have this is more gold than I've ever thought would have on me. I'm very careful about getting close to people and bumping into people.
Yep.
And I'm just going to silently and swiftly make my way to the magic shop.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So you're able to do that pretty effortlessly. You do get inside the magic shop, and the man that you saw before is replaced by an other kind of unnaturally tall. She's around 6.5 feet tall woman with very pale skin. It almost looks like it's a greenish color. She does have human features, but her hair is a deep pink. And she says, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yes, I was actually just in here talking to uh I didn't actually catch his name, but he was just in here. He was helping me price some stuff out. I went to go get the funds.
She says, yes, 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 yes. He's also works here."
Well, I was actually asking about, and he kind of thinks about it. I was, yes, and I don't know if he put it away or not, but I'm gonna say, 400 gold pieces worth of paper, 500 gold pieces worth of gem ink. I was gonna buy the bundle, plus 100 gold worth of incense, 900.
She said, "Well, yes, yeah." She says, "By the way, it's fortunate that we are structured in this Drudak because keeping that amount of money on you, by the way, as a free assessment, is not exactly the safest thing to do.
Oh,
We could have worked this out. He should have told you this, but we could have worked this out where we could have wired the money to and from the Mystic Inn. But that said, it's fine. I assume you have the gold on you."
I do, and but and I'm going to pull out the gem. I'm
Yep.
going to say, I was wondering, and my friend could tell you about this.
Yeah, Pan's gonna kind of take the sapphire from Umber and say, "We have the gold, but we also know that gems are a valuable component in spells, and we know that in fact the ink uses gems such as these. So we were wondering if we might be able to trade this gem that we have that has been valued at uh, close to the price, actually a little bit more, and if we could barter it for the items."
It says, "Oh, so this has actually been certified by the Jewelers Ward before it went down, I assume?" We don't have access to it currently, but there is another jeweler in this Saban. So you have a certificate from him?
We don't have a certificate, but it's actually valued above the value of this. We've been holding on to it for a magic shop like this, and plus, I can imagine the supply chain has been disrupted with the current events. So
All
I
right.
would say
So
this
Pen,
is.
make a persuasion check. This is a very hard DC. Make a persuasion check to see if she's willing to take the risk, take you at your word, and go through this. So, yeah.
26.
Yep. So she thinks about it for a while, and she says, "I hope I don't regret this. Fine. Yes, we'll take the gem."
If there's any issue, you know we are staying at the Mystic Inn. You are obviously free to contact us if there's any type of issue.
He said, "Wonderful." She said, "Yes, I was actually going to have you sign something just to swear to its authenticity, and also sign that you are staying at the Mystic Inn. If you have no problem with that, then sure, we'll do this trade."
Of course.
Yep. So she takes up a piece of paper and she says, "This is a little costly for me, but worth it, so I can keep my job here." And she goes through, and you can tell she's like casting something on the paper, and she says, "This paper will not actually sign unless these items are true." Meaning that even if you write on this paper, if you're lying to me, your name will never be able to be written on this. She says, and she shows you the paper. She says, "Feel free if you need to identify this, but I do need a drop of your blood."
Why is
As
this
she's
so
saying this,
important?
can I just kind of inspect her and the
And you
very
can insight
interesting
check her.
hair she has?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can insight check her. Go ahead and insight check her, and then yeah. So if she's lying through this, it's not going to pass through on an identify unless she's like a crazy powerful person.
18.
Like you would just not have ever experience anyone that could falsify and identify. All right. 18 you said?
Yes.
So after you look through her expression, she seems like she is telling you the truth. She is a little expressionless and she does seem a little alien into the like so for instance, she is awkward in the sense that she all of her facial expressions look like they are acted, meaning that she doesn't naturally know how to act probably around individuals, and these are all things that she's seen before. So
There you go.
she is acting like this. That said, you also can tell through all this that that is just some kind of psychological thing that maybe she was either born with or maybe has something to do with the race she is or something like that, but it's not she's not lying to you in any means probably. um but just to be sure, you'd probably want to identify the piece of paper, but she doesn't seem like she's lying.
Do I have any idea as to what she could be?
No. This is completely unfamiliar. You'd have to talk to her and ask her and see if she's willing to do this. There's nothing that you know that is 6 feet tall. She does not, for instance, the only thing that's fairly greenskin that you can think of from all of the books you read in Greyhawk is something called the Gith or Githyanki, and they are they're also incredibly rare, but you also know they have very distinct facial features, and she has none of this. She looks very human from that perspective. So no, you do not know what she is.
Umbra's just going to be very obvious because he has no manners. He's just going to be kind of looking her over, just
Yep.
fascinated.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll at that point she'll say, do you need to ask me a question?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, but I don't think I've. You are very interesting, in a good way.
She said, "Thank you," and she looks very awkward. Yeah.
I mean,
Umbra's attempt at flirting.
no, do you? I don't mean to pry, but I don't think I've seen anyone as interesting as you. Well,
She says,
yeah.
"Thank you." She says, "Would you like to identify the item before you give me a piece of your blood?" And she says, I understand that giving away blood is dangerous, so by all means identify this. Assuming you can.
I can if you don't want to, Umber.
He's very sheepish looking right now.
Yep.
Do you only have it ritual?
What?
Do you have the spell prepared, or do you only have it as a ritual?
He doesn't have identify. He's just worried about the blood thing more.
Ah, right. Okay. Pan will identify it. If she's giving permission,
yeah, you
then
cast
Pan.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
You cast it. Yeah, you go through and sure enough, what this magic item is sealed inside the runes behind the script that she has written on, which are the words that basically say that you swear that this is a legitimate item, that it is worth 1,000 gold pieces, and you are staying at the Mystic Inn. This is set up so that whoever does whoever gives up their blood, this will physically stop you from signing this document. And if you try to, there is a saving throw. If you try to power through this, which is possible, and succeed, you can still sign. If you fail, and you don't get to know the saving throw through this identify, but if you fail though, it is going to do damage to you. It's going to do a significant amount of damage, which is 2d10. Now, but the good news is that you guys are telling the truth, so this will work the way that she's saying.
Yeah. So, having the knowledge that Erastus is proficient with jewelry and such, and that he did check it out, and it was on his word that it is worth that much. Pan will say that, well, I've checked it out, and I am confident in us doing this trade. So I will sign, and I will give my blood.
Yeah, and Pan, you would also know that it is possible that you're wrong, but if you were wrong, the contract is not powerful enough or even intelligent enough to know if this gem is really 1,000 gold pieces. It's
It's
really just
more
looking for your lie.
if we are
Yeah, it's looking
actively
for your lie.
attempting to lie. If we
Exactly.
knew that
That's
it
right.
wasn't.
That's right. That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So you go ahead and give a drop of your blood and sign the contract.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to successfully sign it, and she's happy with that. And she does take it back, and she holds her hand out for the gem, and she will exchange this too for you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Just while they were doing that transaction, Max will just sort of wander around the store, see if anything sort of catches his eye, things that he could possibly use in combat.
Yeah, so they don't have any kind of magic weapons at all. As a matter of fact, they don't have any weapons at all within the shop, besides small ritual daggers. The one that so there is one item that catches your eye. Umbra, this item was not in the shop before, but as you watch, and it's kind of caught your eye as well, and you'll be able to look at this too. But there is a small metallic box that's sitting on a pedestal that's clearly meant to be like seen. Wasn't in the shop before, and it's got gems on all sides of it. So on all four sides that you can see, well, sorry, all three sides you can see. You can't see the back. Each one has what looks like a purple gem.
Is there
What
any?
that?
Is there any name that indicates what it is, or any
Nothing.
price?
Nothing. No name, no price.
Okay, I'll chime up and just ask the lady. This box here, it's caught my eye. What exactly is it?
He says, "Well, it is very, very expensive. However, you have proven to be good customers, so um, this is and she pauses to herself and she says, "Well, but before I tell you about such an item, you are supposed to actually be part of a guild." And she looks back and she says, "But since we are the only ones here, and I'll tell you, it's fine." She says it's fine, it's fine. She says,
The secret safe less.
yeah, she said, she said, this is a palindrome. Are you familiar with this or what they are?
I do not believe so. No.
She said, palindromes are devices that any of our wealthier merchants or nobility, perhaps, or anyone with significant enough coin can purchase and have a direct line with the Zhen.
Does Max know what the Gen is?
No, you have no idea.
What is the Gen?
He looks wide-eyed at you. She said, "Oh, you really are not from here." She
No,
said,
I've traveled quite far to get here.
"The Zhen are godlike beings that came to Kalamport thousands and thousands of years ago, and for most of our history have ruled us. There was an uprising that happened that caused a lot of problems, actually." And she says, "Have you seen the Great Wall outside the city? The wall that looks like it's kind of almost like fire?"
Yes, that did catch my eye whilst we were heading in here.
She said that's part of the issue and why we're selling these right now. She said, so uh, she said, how much do you know of the events that have happened here recently?"
Uh, honestly, nothing. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if my friends know more,
Well,
but I
that.
myself.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I don't think I was a
Go
part
ahead.
of the conversation at the inn. Never mind.
She says, "Well, she says I don't have everything. I mean, I don't know everything that happened, but I do know that uh, around a couple months ago, I believe the Jin are coming to take the city back, and so that's why we sell these. It's to get in their good graces. Eventually, once they resolve whatever is going to happen, I assume there's going to be some retribution. So, so if I'm not sure that this would necessarily interest you, being that you're not from the city, but Jinn are incredibly powerful beings that have been known to not only hold some of the most powerful magic I've ever heard of, but they are also beings that, for instance, created things. And she looks at you, Umbra, and she looks at you, Pan, like Wish.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, just out of character. She said this was a gift to them, or
No,
a
you have
gift
to pay for
from.
you have to pay for it, and this will give you a
No,
direct.
I mean what exactly did she say it was?
Oh, the name of it?
No, not the name. The purpose of it. Like,
Oh, she said so. The purpose is to give you a direct line of communication to one of the
communication. That's
Jinn.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
she has not explicitly explained what or how that works, or which Jinn you're talking to, if there's only one or whatever. But she does say that. Yeah.
Would that have rung any sort of bell with me?
Probably not. The only thing that you do remember is what. Go ahead and give me a history check. Actually, let's find out how much you know of this. Because you read
Nope.
about Jen. Okay, you read
That
about
one.
Jen, but you don't remember anything about Calimport in particular. So
Well, I must say it's an interesting item. Just curious, how much is it selling for?
you said 7,000 gold pieces currently, but I'm not exactly sure that I'm allowed to sell it. But potentially I could.
No, that is fine. It merely just caught my interest. That's all.
Yep. And as that happens, she immediately turns to complete crystal. She is this is frightening for all of you. Her whole body crystallizes. It's like a red crystalline material that goes through, and she is now frozen in this. And she looks like a sculpture.
Max, what did you do?
I didn't do anything. I can't do that.
Pan?
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do it.
Do you think that she wasn't supposed to say that, and this consequence?
Is there movement from inside of it?
No.
Jesus.
No, she looks like she is actually crystal. There's no crystal around her. She looks like she has literally turned to pure crystal.
Am I able to sense if her key is still there, or if she's just completely just deceased?
Oh yeah, she has no key right now. You would actually be able to sense this. She just currently has no key.
Oh.
Should we maybe the man that was here before? Do you think he's out to lunch?
I would. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Oh, jeez.
Is there a back room? Do I hear any shuffling from the back?
So this is a strange. This is definitely a strange merchant house building. So what you see is there's a table, and that table has all of the things that we were talking about. But on the sides, there are jars and other things that are piled all the way up to the ceiling, and they prevent you from seeing anything behind them. It is certainly possible that there is more space in this room because it looks smaller than from the outside, but you can't see any obvious way through that. And you're kind of in tight quarters coming in, so it's really impossible to tell unless you go over the counter.
I need to stop going to shops. Pan, do you have sending?
Do I do not.
Shit. Wait, I have sending. I am.
I'm gonna go to the front of the store towards the door and just Keep an eye out to make sure no one comes in here.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, you
and there are-
totally. Yeah, that's fair for now. It'll be decently easy for now to do that. Yeah. So if you go outside, you're able to do that for now.
Yep. Okay. I'm not sure what to do. I'll just make sure that no one comes in here. I'm gonna trust that you guys can figure this out. You probably know more about this than I do, or can figure out more than I can. The only thing is that I can't sense her key, so I'm assuming that she's no longer alive. And I'll go to the front of the shop.
Should we like go get a guide or something?
Um, see if you can figure out what happened. If not, then we can go to a guard.
Wait, maybe we. I'm going to and go return to the store to buy paper, ink. Met the counter. While explaining a box, she turned to Crystal. Please help.
And I'm sorry, who do you send that to?
The shopkeeper I met before who gave me all the prices. I didn't get his name, but I met him face to face.
Yep. Well, does message require name? I don't remember. I think if you, let's find out. Does
don't
message require name?
think so.
Well,
It requires a
sending
general
is-
direction, doesn't it?
Sending is you send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which you are familiar.
I would assume
Right,
I'm
so-
familiar because I
Yeah,
saw
that's
his face.
fine. No,
Yeah.
that's fine then. Yeah.
And sending's way more complex too, so I would hope message would be a little fair in that regard.
Yep. Yep.
Message. You point
Uh,
your finger toward a creature within range and whisper a message.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
You need to be able. Yeah, you have to point to
Have to
them
be in
for
range.
message.
You
No,
can cast
this
this.
isn't
You can
message.
cast
This
this.
is sending.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
doing sending. Okay, cool.
I'm doing
Alright.
sending.
The thing with message is that you can cast the spell through solid objects if you are familiar with the target and know it's beyond
This isn't the
the
cantrip.
barrier.
This is.
Oh, so
yeah,
you're doing sending. Yeah, you're good
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
The big spell.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
could cast sending to Gretna's family, and I've never met them. I only had a name.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm burning ascending.
Okay. Yep. So perfect. So around so it takes 2 minutes or so, and then it says, "Oh, what? I will be right there." What?
Put the close sign on, Max. She's coming.
Yeah.
Close up shop.
I'm never going shopping again. I swear to God.
Oh, poor
I-
Umbra.
It does. So it does take quite a while, 30 minutes for and he does come to the front of the shop. It is the same person you saw before, and he bursts in and he says, What has happened?"
I have no idea. We bought the things. We signed the contract. I have everything here. She was explaining that item. I pointed to the box. She was saying a little bit about the history to my friend Max, and she did that in the middle of a sentence. We didn't do anything, we swear.
Yeah, so you can tell that he's doing an investigation. He does have some tools that look like they might be magical in nature, and he says, "I'm going to need some time. Do not leave."
Sure. Yeah. Would you like me
Yep.
to make sure no one comes in here?
Please, yes.
Yep.
Yep. So he goes through and he looks at things, and he comes and he said, "So tell me exactly what happened right before this happened."
I was Umbra, my friend here. He was finishing off an exchange for some tools that he needs for his spells. And I got curious about that item there, so I asked about it, and she started to explain the history of it and its purpose. And then, as Umbra said, halfway through talking, she just turned to Crystal, and we're
Okay.
not sure what
He
happened.
says, "All right." He says, "Well, I'm sure it wasn't any of you then." So he does point to the object. He says that this object is nasty and dangerous, as you can tell. It is kind of a two-way communication device to the Jinn, of of which we actually do not know which Jinn we are talking to. But understand this. And he does, and he says, but before we go further, 1 second. And he does some kind of semantic verbal components, and you can see that there is now a box around the item in glowing blue ethereal like things. You actually see these strange symbols around the box too, and then in 4 or 5 seconds it literally vanishes. um and he says he says, so he said, "What do you know of Kellimport?" She said, "And by the way, that it was on her. She that was not very smart what she did. Um, but and I don't think there's any fixing this. Years, by the way, after years, years of struggle, Kellimport has been in huge upheaval. Are you familiar with the Genasi uprising?"
Would Max be familiar with it?
No, no. And he
No.
says, well, it certainly happened. And so I don't know if you've noticed, but did you see that there were Genasi outside of Kellimport?
Yes, we did come across a few.
Yeah, well, they're no longer allowed within the city or this ward, and the reason why is because they are ultimately responsible for the uprising. A chosen of Ilmater ended up leading not only most of the Genasi within the city, but several others to essentially go full out and have a disastrous war with the Jinn. But shockingly to all of us, they won. The Jinn have actually been pushed out of Kellimport. The first time in Faerun's history, the Jinn are back in their realm. And then, well, you saw what happened outside. And so, yes, it's a very dangerous time to be a citizen here if you haven't put this together yet. But yes, this ridiculous chosen of Ilmater, this whatever he was called, Zinok or something or other, he foolishly led this ridiculous rebellion. Most of the sensible people within the city stayed out of it, like myself. Matter of fact, this entire ward stayed out of it. And well, look at us. We're live. God knows what's happening behind that wall there. But unfortunately, as you can see, talk poorly or give information you're not supposed to, and well, and he looks at the crystal sculpture, that could happen, or worse.
Well, this
Yes,
wouldn't
he says,
look like
and
something.
he said also, fellow, listen, you are a good patron of the shop, and I'm sorry you had to see this, and certainly I'm sorry that this happened myself, but um, as a wizard, you should know this is one of the only places in, I believe, all of Faerun where people come here from everywhere. And I mean everywhere, and he winks to you. Not just Faerun. So keep that under your hat as well.
Like other worlds. Do you need anything? If there's anything I can do for the store, if there's anything I can do for you,
Yeah, he says, well, this is a problem, isn't it? And a problem that I'm not so sure is going to be easily solved. And we're both in the thick of it now, my friend. So I may need your help later, but for now, obviously you can leave and we'll have to work this out. I will take care of this, but you have to understand, if I go to the guards right now, it's going to make my whole shop look like we're interlopers, that we're like in with the chosen of Ilmater, and I am clearly not. So this is clearly a problem.
Chris, when he said there's people from other worlds, did it sound like he was talking about himself?
No, it doesn't sound like he is talking about himself, but you never know. Like he doesn't really give you any kind of hint that he's talking about him.
Okay. Also, does this look like how permanent does this crystal look? Does this look like something I could even attempt to dispel, or is this like a
You could cer-
restoration thing?
You could try. You could totally try. You're not sure. You have no idea. You could try to dispel it.
And that I still have his name, and I have something. It's risky. It's not a guarantee, but it's better than nothing, and it's the most I can do at this current moment.
Yep. Go for it.
All right, so this is going to be a +5 to this roll.
Yep.
Is this something that I can bardic inspiration?
No.
Never mind.
No. All
14.
right. So yeah, that's fine. So you go through and tell us a little bit about the spell. Have you read the spell itself?
I mean, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have
So
it
go
up
ahead
there.
and go ahead and tell us what you did to try to dispel this.
So usually, at least how I flavor it, is I kind of do the somatic components and I kind of extend them out like I'm actually kind of grasping the magical energy around it and kind of unweaving the energy like I did the beetles from the portal. How
Yep.
I kind of, from a distance, I kind of reach them and I kind of like mime pulling up the energy from them.
Perfect.
Almost like a puppet kind of deal.
All right, perfect. So you're starting to see this very, very complicated web pattern behind it. You go to attempt to dispel, and it fails. And worse, as that happens, there's a severe amount of magical backlash that hits into you. Do me a favor and make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh shit.
Oh boy. Someone call Gretna.
Okay. 18.
All right. Okay, so you take 20 points of damage. You fail. You take 20
Oh
points of
shit.
damage, and it washes over you like tiny, small crystal, like red crystal, like things just pepper your chest as if they're growing out of you. It obviously doesn't kill you, but you're now bleeding over this or whatever, and you know that this is something that as you're touching it is going to be dangerous to your health. So this is not something that you can mess with or try to mess with all the time. And you thought you did a pretty good job.
I'm going to stand up.
You good? Yeah, I'll help
I'm
Umbra
going
back to his feet.
I'm going to press digitation of the blood off of me, and I'm going to look around, and I'm going to go,
Yeah,
is
the
anyone
crystals
else?
all fall off. Yeah, they all fall off into the ground as you do this. They come out of your skin and stuff. But all the wounds are still there.
With Mage Hand, I'm going to take the little suede pouch that I had all my coins in, dump them back into the bag, and I'm going to use Mage Hand to scoop some of the tiny crystals into the suede bag.
Yep.
And I'm going to stand up and look at everyone else to make sure everyone else is okay, like I didn't just catch them all in that.
Yeah, he winces and he says, let's just.
I will not do that again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Fuck, dude.
I'll chime up and say, if when you need a hand with sorting out this mess, we are at the Mystic Inn, and I feel partly responsible for this, so I'll help you with what needs to be done to help clear this up.
He says, thank you. And by the way, he at this point he notices the contract, and he says, I assume you got your items. You did get your items, by the way.
Yes, I have them in the pack, or in my pack, I should say.
He says, okay, and he says, and he says, all right, I will take care of this. I will also take care of her. Please, before you leave, like he said, how long are you planning on staying?
Well, I have rooms booked for
Next
3 days at the
Uh,
moment.
Just before you leave, come see me, please.
Absolutely. If there's anything that you think of that we can do, I'd be happy to do it. Anything at all.
He says, "All right, thank you." And as this is all happening, Sio and Erasus, we're gonna do you now too. So happening at the same time. None of this is happening yet. Obviously, it's all happening in real time. So what do you guys do when you walk into this place? Gretna, you're here as well. It's
Yep,
in.
I'm at the bar drinking something.
Yep.
A dwarven ale if they've got it.
They do have Dwarven Ale, so
Oh.
they absolutely do have Dwarven Ale. And so Gretna, you also see this guy too. I'm gonna give you his art. Hold on one second. Here we go. Let's see.
If there's art for him, that's bad.
All right.
He's another
Uh,
artificer.
hold on one second.
That
There
means-
we go.
that
Here we
means
go.
competent.
So he is absolutely at the bar drinking. Many people are looking at this this guy. He's
Shit.
he's,
Horrible.
he's actually he's actually pretty he's pretty charismatic. He is talking to other people. By the way, every now and then someone will go to pet that animal, and he'll be like, "Hey, hands off!" And he will be very serious. But
I feel like as soon as Theo and Erastus enters, she'll let go of his hand, knowing he is a shy boy, and she'll hold the door for him, and she'll just kind of tilt her head towards him and nod. That was him.
I'm going to walk in, see it, and immediately turn on my heel and just put my face to the wall and be like, "Oh, no, that's a lot cooler than I thought it was gonna be. Shit, fuck, no, what?"
Well, what's wrong, Erastus? You could just talk to him. I mean, you're probably just as smart and capable as he
Erastus,
is.
do you have the armor on right now? Or are you totally out of your armor?
Yeah, I'm totally out of my armor.
That's
Do you
what
have
I thought.
Demi?
Okay.
Yeah, he's in my pocket.
Well, then, why don't you just...
Shush. I'm gonna look over my shoulder, but yeah, shit, it's still cool. Fuck.
Yeah, so he's closest to you, Gretna, for now.
I turn
you
around to see your ass and growl. And turn back to my beer.
Sio's just wide-eyed, staring between Erastus and Gretna, not fully comprehending. Like, Sio's blissfully unaware. She just thought you guys were, putzing around town. She
Alright,
didn't
time's
know
up.
Erastus got in trouble.
Max did not inform you of what the hell happened.
No, you thought.
Last strawberry.
So you said you had your
Yeah.
last strawberry
I was stopped.
15 minutes ago.
I was stopped from eating it.
I
I
see.
turn to the guy and I go, I hate sloppy drunks.
I
Well,
don't know.
Erastus, do you want me to introduce you to him? I
No.
think it might be nice for you to meet another artificer, someone who understands your trade.
he is talking to
Why are-
several other people at the bar right now. Yep.
Why are my hands tingly?
I think you're just nervous.
Am I having a heart attack?
Maybe anxiety, but why don't we go sit with Gretna and we can just wait
She
until
tried to
he's
kill
free.
me.
Now, Rastus, even drunk, as you look over his gear, you not only are you slightly impressed, but you've also never ever seen anything really like it. Even on your stuff. Your stuff
I'm
is slightly
master.
similar. Your stuff is slightly similar, but what's fascinating about his things is that
What ab-
number one, they are a little theatrical in the sense that he has a bunch of gears moving throughout his armor. So he clearly doesn't mind if people like see it. It's a little showy, but what's also strange is that you don't actually understand why he has so many different glass like baubles. So if you look at the actual art, you'll notice that he has one on his chest, one on his fist, and one over on his shoulder, and they do seem to be connected with some kind of like brass like piping. All this is very foreign to you. You're like, I mean, you can guess maybe, but this is not something that you've actually like thought of yourself or gone through.
How does
And
he stack up to Erastus's master?
you'd have to really talk to him, but you're getting kind of slightly intimidated by the fact that this guy might be really good at this, or it's all for show and he's a fraud. It's one of those two. But the dog, flawless. You're like, damn, that seems pretty good.
Look at the little tongue.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
got a tongue hanging out.
ugh.
Yeah, he did a
He's
really good job on the dog, and the attention to detail is meticulous. And it actually seems like
like
your
Abel,
Bimmy, it
but
has
better.
yeah,
Shit.
it seems like he has a personality just like you were able to do with Bimmy, which is a sign that, by the way, that they're decent at this. But yeah. Yeah, and the dog, by the way, is actually crafted and created to look very friendly, but clearly be intimidating. As you can see, even the jaws have these sharp pinchers. So even though he's meant to look friendly, it's also he's built to have function.
I'm
So
freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Uh,
Arasis,
tell me I'm tall. Like something.
you're an equally, if not more, competent artificer than him because you don't need the ornate gadgets and bells and whistles that he's wearing in order to flaunt your superiority.
But
You're,
it's the pizzazz.
but
Okay.
you don't need the pizzazz to
Hey,
show that you're a good
Gretna.
artificer.
And I'm gonna turn and walk towards them, like just really awkwardly
yep,
stepping, not acting myself at all,
yep,
like definitely putting on a show,
yeah,
looking really awkward.
yeah. He's talking to people, and he looks at you and he says, "Turtle."
Gretna,
He says, "It's
Gret,
a turtle. He says, "I haven't seen a turtle in forever." He says, "Where? How? Are you from Ahoy
yeah,
Hoy?"
yeah.
I
He's,
think CEO would interject and just confirm more confidently.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Arasis, an artificer from Ahoy Hoy.
he looks at you and he says, "What? What? An artificer?" He says, Flim Shacklecran, you're an
No,
artificer?" He said, "Show me. Show me, my boy.
no,
Show me."
Oh,
no.
he is. He's actually very skilled in his craft. Arasis, can I see Bemi, please?
Do
And
you have? Do you have
CEO
any?
will. She's holding her hand out for Bemi.
He said,
No.
yeah. So does Bimmy fly out?
Yeah, to her, yes, he would. But
Yeah. Okay.
Then
He
she'll
says
hold him out like a bird on her finger and just
oh,
kind of present him to the.
he
that's
says
that's nothing.
my. Did you I don't remember you, but then again I'm kind of old. He said, did you study in Lanton with me? Are you actually from the academy in Lanton? You are not, Erasmus.
No, no, no. That's nothing.
He says, you figured this out without being from the academy?
I'm
Now, now,
self-taught.
now, you- now you do actually know. So, Rasmus, as an artificer, you do know that Lanton is
Yeah,
the greatest engineering academy. It's a gnomish engineering academy, but it's the greatest engineering academy for artificers of basically all time. It's also very racist in the sense that a lot of times you kind of have to be a gnome or show exceptional like thing. But the fact but you do know this yourself. The fact that you were able to figure this out without actually going to that academy is kind of amazing. Now, granted, you do have the book. He doesn't know
yeah.
this, but yeah, it's kind of like almost impossible. So he says, and he says, he says, I actually believe you, as I was there for years. He says, I don't remember any turtles. My goodness.
I'm
My
self-taught.
how he says how on earth he says he says look he says this is Flimpy, and he says, "Flimpy, say hi." And Flimpy does like come up to everyone. He says, "Do you?" He says, does does he have a personality? That's very advanced." He looks at
Yeah,
yeah.
this is you followed the same naming procedure I did. I see. This is Bemi. So
He
Flemmy
says
meet Bemi.
he says this is quite a surprise. He says unbelievable. And by the way, he shows you. He says, look at my latest work actually. And he shows you one of his infused magic items. It's a mechanical cloak made out of a bunch of like brass fixtures, but it's very clear to you that this is a cloak of the manta ray. And he says, just finish this. And he goes through, he says, well, come on, boy, let's see something.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I get this. I'll take out my wrench, which I have as my radiant weapon, which can
Yep.
blind people and cast light, and is also a +1 weapon.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
put it on the
Yep.
ground.
He says,
I mean, it's not.
"Unbelievable! You did this on your own. This is
Yeah,
decent work."
and I got
He's,
this, and I'll put my spell repulsion shield in Bimmy, and I'll take Co's rod out of her hand and be like, "Yeah, this."
Ah! Sio's
I feel
scrambling
like
for that shit back.
Well,
So he-
I made that better, and then I got this, and I'll slap my chest, and my guardian armor comes on.
okay, so immediately when your guardian armor comes on,
I also
he's
raise
like,
about a foot off the ground as I do
yeah,
it.
yeah. He says, "Unbelievable!" And he actually gets up. He pats everyone else away. There are people that were still trying to grab his attention, and he literally just slaps them away. And he comes and he starts looking at you. He gets down,
Don't
and
hit Gretna.
he starts circling. He starts circling
Love
around.
it.
He says, "This is real work. This is real work." And he goes through and he says, I have, he says, I've only known one other at Waterhavian that could do anything like this work. He said, he said, boy, he said, my boy, he said, the things we could probably do together. I cannot believe you didn't go to the academy. He says, this is really good work. He says, wait until one day. He says, how long are you in Kellenport for?
Well, I'm pretty much a genius, and I'm gonna leave like immediately. I just want to take a couple of strawberries for the road.
He says, well, have you ever heard of a Nautilus before? You can make a history check if
Ye-
you want. You probably
I
wouldn't have heard of them. You
No,
probably
I'm
wouldn't
just
have
gonna
heard
say yes, of
of
course.
them. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. He says,
And I got my mask up so he can't see my face.
well, wait until you see my ship, because
I
not only did
not
I
interested.
refurbish a Nautilus, he said, but he said, I think we have the only one in existence currently that is fully controllable by a gnome.
Well, not interested.
He says, well, suit yourself, but I promise you, it's amazing.
I'm trying to get to a hoy hoy. I'm trying to go home.
He says, well,
Is it available for rent? And if so, I can pay you with a little bit of what I know. I do know quite a bit.
he says,
Would you
nah,
like this? And I will take the steel defender out of my backpack and put it on the ground.
yeah. He looks at you and he says,
Boom.
"Oh, I am well versed in that. I am still a little surprised and shocked though that you're able to do all these things without actually going to Lenten. At some point, we'll need to sit down and discuss this." But he said, however, he said, "This is." Very, very impressive. It's unfortunate you don't want to see my ship though, but that's fine. He said we're actually leaving tomorrow night anyway, but the ship is nowhere near here. But
Well,
um,
what's your name, good gnome, sir? This is Gretna, and this is
And
Co.
his name is Flim Shagglecramp. He already told you that, but you weren't listening because all you're doing was thinking about
I am
yourself.
got a
he
headache.
he
I've
sees
got
you
a headache.
he sees you talk for the first time, Gretna, and he's like, "Madam, what is your name?"
That's
Oh,
Gretna the hammer.
Granton's
Gretna's
really pulling.
talkative.
Okay.
He says, my. He says, "You are quite the sight, madam."
I
Oh boy, here we
Go
go.
Yeah, go get her, boy.
He says,
know. Look, it's been over 50 years
Hold on.
since. Never mind.
He says, well, he says, listen, my invitation still stands. If you'd like to see my ship at some point, we are leaving tomorrow. But if you can settle up your affairs here and you want to see the ship, I am, by all means, I will recall it at some point. I'm sure it will make a spectacle
It the
from all of
if
Kellenport, as a
if
matter of fact.
if
But
if the offer is just a tour, yeah.
Sure. It is just a tour. He says
I-
if you do need me to take you somewhere, I could think about doing that. Here's the problem. The ship draws a bit of attention. I am only comfortable recalling it to Calimport because, well, I'm sure you know this, or maybe you don't, but it's not the only one in existence here. There's people have been known to do planar travel rarely in Calimport, but taking the ship to Ahoy Hoy, my dear boy, no, we can't do that. But
okay, well, this
draw
is a,
way too much attention. As a matter of fact, the wrong kind of attention, mind flares and
Why?
all. He
sorry.
says,
I asked
well,
him why.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he
you
says he does look at you, Gretna, and he says, well, unfortunately, I kind of took this ship from the wrong kind of beings that you do not want to cross.
no.
And so what we don't want, me and my fellow travelers, is to draw so much attention that word gets around that there is a gnome flying a mind flare vessel. And that's kind of the reason.
Yeah, no. I think we're good. I think we're good. We just came out of hell, so.
He
You
says,
just
but
see
no, he says, however, I do promise you, it is completely safe now. As a matter of fact, there's not much organic material left. It is an amazing sight to behold.
I'm pretty much on a 0 organic material level right now. So.
I like to
don't-
think that Erasmus is holding his head in his hands, just saying no, 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 no.
I'm like at a sum 0 Ganny material game right now. But would you like to do math? I'm available for math.
He says, well, he looks at the group and he says, is he all right? He seems he must be incredibly smart to make these things, but right now he's not really talking sense.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Arasis, and Seal will say this as she puts a hand gently on his shoulder, is a
Got any
nervous
more
one.
strawberries?
You
He's
already
sloppy
think
drunk, and I go over and I pat him on the shoulder and give him a lesser resto.
No more drawing.
Yeah.
That's
it does
awesome.
take it. It does take it away. Yep.
What?
Seal
So-
would explain that
What?
he's just the nervous type. He's not really, since leaving Ahoy Hoy, been able to meet someone
Wait, who's
similar
nervous?
in his trade. You
I'm
are
not nervous.
not
Yeah.
anymore.
He
Fucking
so
Cloak of the Manta Ray?
he does
Amateur shit.
he does he says my good boy, that is not all I have. He says and he points to his boots. They are modified wing boots. And then it looks like he's also modified
I
some kind
do
of ring
have
of
enough
protection.
spells left.
But he does take his warhammer out. Erasmus, you're not exactly sure what this does, but this is the nicest looking warhammer you've ever seen, and the sides slightly glow. As an artificer, though, out of character, you are able to assess this as a +2 warhammer of some kind.
That shit's cool. Why didn't you lead with that?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. According to this, I don't have enough second level spells left, but I really think I do. So just, I don't know.
Well, okay, I'll play just aggressively until you figure it out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you lead with that?
But he says, but my invitation does stand. He looks at you, Gretna, and he says, the Kraken's Folly is a beautiful ship.
Why are you looking at her?
Kraken's Folly. Because I'm pretty.
Are you? Okay.
No.
Erasmus?
He hears you say that, and
Gretna-
he says, boy, do not talk to women that way.
Exactly, Arasis. Gretna's one of the most beautiful women we've ever had the privilege of meeting.
I know
All-
I'm not really.
All the
honestly am.
turtle women are bald and hunchbacked. We have different standards here.
By the way, Flimpy, his dog, has now started to like circle the whole area, and he starts to like get up on you, Gretna, and starts to play with you a bit. And he
Hey.
says, Flimpy, no, come on.
I like animals. I'm okay.
Look,
As long as he doesn't,
sorry, but I'm headed to Ahoy Hoy. If you can't help us get there, I'm more than willing to,
He says
go
we do
on to
have
the
we do have to be careful. There's not
Okay,
much organic
you-
material left on this Nautilus, but for the small organic material that does exist, the last thing we want is the rumor going out Especially, most people from the Dales can't actually like comprehend the fact that this is a mind flare vessel, or that it's a Nautilus, or any of those details. So it's been fine so far, but we do have to be slightly careful. We don't want the mind flayers to come back and try to reclaim their lost property.
Look,
Obviously, yes. By the way, for all of you that are wondering, we did find this ship abandoned and crashed. That's how we were able to
can,
reconstitute it.
can you take us as far as Tashlar across the bay?
He says, "Well, let me talk to my group, and if you do want me to go to some of the way, yes, I'm sure we can figure something out."
Tashlar is just across the bay. It's about 120 miles south. I would know. I've walked that shit.
Yep.
Look, we don't have a ton of money or any other kind of payment, but what I can do for you, I can give you a professional opinion on how to improve the defenses of your ship. You seem pretty well and good in, regular artificery. I am a specialist in defense, as you can tell. I might be able to help you out on the Kraken's Folly.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he says no, that's fine. He says, "Well, let me talk to the group, and then we'll think about it." But I would actually use someone that's obviously competent, that's naturally talented in some amazing, impossible way. I would certainly be willing to take some advice. He says, by the way, uh, as you are now that I know that you're an accomplished artificer, he's looking over at everyone else. What does everyone think of the recent events in Calimport?
no idea. We got here yesterday. And better news for you, we're not even obviously competent. We're surprisingly competent.
That last meme you sent, Max, is absolutely what Cio's doing. She would go to say something and then just, eh,
No, he's right.
pretty much. Cio would go to say something and then would just not say anything because that's fair enough.
Out of character, this out of game, obviously this character is tied to unreleased content. But the nice thing is that I can show you this art, because this art is also in the brand new thing that was released,
Hey,
that ties into what's coming, and also what was already done in May. So
real quick, have you been invited to a carnival recently?
he says, carnival? Oh, you mean that blasted witchlight thing that comes every 8 years that everyone's talking about? No, I
Yeah,
don't.
let's just
So-
never talk about it again. Just want
No.
to make sure.
He says, no.
I brought it up so that no one brings it up.
Well,
Just want to make sure. I will address you to my manager and liaison. This is CO. She's having a bad day, so be nice to her.
He says, no, it's fine. Well, we're actually off the Candlekeep. So like I said, I need to talk to my group, and we'll see where we can take you from there.
Yeah, we're not going Candlekeep way. That's up northeast. We're going Tashlar way. That's
Candlekeep
the south.
Hog.
Right, correct.
I
That's
fucking
why I
wish
need to talk to the group, and
we-
we'll
I've
see.
also been to Candlekeep.
What?
It's on the coast.
That was me as Kaylee, not Cio. Cio has no idea what the fuck that is.
So, well, here's my card. I'm just gonna take out a piece of parchment. and write
Erastus would have been
Erastus.
able to see Candlekeep. He just wouldn't have been able to enter the library.
Oh,
Obviously.
No,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I never went to the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write my name, Erastus, and where we're staying, and the room number. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
it to him. Like, this is my card.
Yeah.
Um,
But he says, yeah. So just we'll be in the tavern tomorrow. Probably I imagine we'll be leaving sometime late at night. So you have pretty much the whole day. But I'll be here in the morning, and then I'll be back during lunchtime, and then you'll have to find me in the city if you don't find me those 2 times.
well, you have my card. Send a runner or something. I'm sure you have many. Send Flimmy or whatever his. I can't remember your name.
He says, Flimpy.
Flimpy. Sorry,
Yep.
it's too close to Bimmy. Just let him know. Send him, and if you want us to join you, we're more than welcome. To join you, obviously.
And
Just,
if it's okay with you, I'd be happy to send you a message via arcane means.
Yeah, she can do that. Pretty good.
Oh,
at
yes,
that.
of course. Yes, of course.
Don't
Yes, if you want to
respond
send
with
me.
hotter or colder.
Yes,
She gets pissed
yes.
off at that.
He says this is a competent group. Look at this group having message and all of that. This is
Wait till you meet the incompetent ones. Kind of
Yep.
evens us out.
Yeah, he looks at you
Anyway,
quizzically,
There are
but he
no
says, "Oh."
incompetent ones in our group. What are you talking about?
Shush.
Max
exactly.
sneezes.
Max sneezes in the distance.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we'd be happy to leave you to your other company, and we'll reach out to you tomorrow and see if we can take you up on your offer, sir. It's very gracious, and we're very grateful that you've shown us such kindness. And Sia won't bow, but she'll just nod her head in acknowledgement.
Yep.
And she'll put her hands on Erasmus and start turning him around to
Yeah.
fucking
And,
leave.
and,
Hey,
and-
stop
and by
talking
the
to
way,
me.
as
Don't
that
touch me.
whole exchange happened, everyone would be able to notice that there are several people that are trying to get this guy's attention. That while he's been talking to all of you, and have been giving you kind of like nasty glares, especially you, Erasmus, who seem to be like not respecting him at all. You're not exactly sure why they care so much, but the guess is that he has crazy amounts of armor. Maybe it's gotten around that he has some kind of flying ship
Yeah,
or
but my
something.
armor's
But yeah,
better than his.
Yep.
Yeah.
Erasmus, well, let's get your things
Yeah.
and let's
Well,
go
it was nice to
prior
meet
to the
you,
end.
Yep.
Robilar.
He says, you are a strange turtle. He's
Yeah,
talented but strange.
Mm-hmm.
that's what they call me.
And he says, by the way, I've actually heard that name before. How have you heard the name Rabalar? That's some fairy tale old adventurer that I've read about. He said, how on earth have you heard that name?
Well,
Well,
No one wants to say it.
it was
in
it
short,
it was nice meeting you, sir. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I'm probably read it somewhere, and I'm just getting your name confused because it sounds so similar. I don't have a good explanation for this, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to my hotel now.
Well,
Um,
fair enough.
was
Again, come see me later if you all would like to. I'm sure the rest of the group would like to meet you anyway. All right. Have a good day.
I'm not done with my drink.
and you too, sir. And Sia will pick up
Do you
Erasmus's
say that out
things.
loud, Gretna? Do you say that
Yeah.
out loud? He says, by all means, stay here with me.
All right.
Stay here with
I'm
me.
gonna
Let's. Yep.
I'm gonna go outside and have an anxiety attack.
All right.
I'm gonna pick
So
up
so
Erasmus's
so
things.
so Gretna
And
stays. So Gretna stays behind. He actually sits next to you, Gretna, and starts to speak to you. And it's very
Okay.
clear that he is interested.
Uh-huh.
well,
What do you mean organic material?
yeah, at
I,
that
I
Sia's just
I'm
gonna pat
getting.
Breton on
I'm
the
go.
shoulder and leave.
You two go to
Yep.
AFK.
Yeah, I'll show you
two
some
go to
organic
cigarette.
material, sure.
I will. So Greta, if you went through later, we can do a back and forth on what you learned from this guy.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that. So yeah, that's fine. So but anyway, so
This is just a Jersey Monday.
exactly. But if you stick around, that's fine. So you guys go out. What would you guys? So let me
Yeah,
just double
I'm
check
having a
something.
panic attack outside. I'm dropping the armor. It just
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. We're
I
still.
mean, it's been 50 years since Gretna had anything, so you know.
There
Nice.
you go. There you go. Awesome, Greta. So anyway, so what would you guys like to do like outside? So Greta's gonna be busy with him. What do you guys
Yes.
want to do?
Can I
Sia's gonna
finish
pick up
my?
Erasmus's things. She's gonna pat Gretna on the shoulder, tell her they're all going back to the inn, and
Yep.
we will see her later. Give her a wink,
holy
and
fuck, he was cool. He was so cool.
I understand. Why don't we head back to the inn and we'll meet with the others
Now,
and we'll have a
now
meal and
I
retire for the
a
I
evening.
was
couple things. A
bullshitting the
couple.
entire time. I
A
can't
couple.
help him.
A couple things, by the way, that you would know out of game Erasus. I mean, sorry, out of game and mechanics wise, but you're gonna know this and blend this into character. First and foremost, he is fucking amazing to be able to kit a Nautilus because Nautilus
Yeah.
are organic computers, and what he's done is figure out a way to keep the actual Nautilus alive while reprogramming it with inorganic material and also make it still function. Also, you would know that if he's done an expert job, this thing has planar travel. If that's true, you don't know that yet, obviously, but it's possible this thing is a planar vessel because Nautiluses are by nature planar vessels. Now, if he were to able to recreate the nerve center of a Nautilus, and you've actually played the Baldur's Gate games, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. That control center where you actually touch all the tentacles together, and it actually does basically jump planes that cannot be organic material and still be a safe vessel. So he must have had to replace that as well. If he's able to do that, he is a very high level artificer. He would be over level 14 if that's true. So at out of game characters, you can blend that all in, but if that's correct, then he would be fucking crazily good.
He's at least level 12 based on the things that he could create. Just out of
Yeah,
game.
that is
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Erasmus was just playing off like he was equal, and then he
Yeah.
got out, and he was like, "Holy shit, fucking that guy was." Yeah.
You do have an edge with him too, as you know, at a game, because there is absolutely fucking no way that you could build the things you did and not come from there. So he's intrigued,
Yeah, and he can't make the armor. Guardian
and he
armor.
knows for sure, and he knows for sure that there were no turtles. So
Yeah, so I'm just trying. Well, a guy with a 12 intelligence is trying, or 12 fucking charisma, is trying to play this off as far as he can. He's not very good at it. He barely kept it together.
yeah, that's probably and so Erasmus, you're a smart guy. You would know that you probably didn't fool him. He's definitely way more impressed in how the fuck you are an artificer and how you're so good at it. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm just having a panic attack outside in the alley.
Yeah, Sia would get his stuff, put it back in his bag, and she would take out 2 of the 5 fruits she bought, and she would
Yeah,
give the
Sia.
first one to Kiri and the other one to Erasmus to munch on so he couldn't
Yeah.
distract himself.
Do you have a paper bag or a cupcake?
Not another cupcake, but, I have this, and she'll pull out the nice berry that Kiri wanted, and she'll hand one to him on her shoulder, and she will hand one to Erasmus. Just breathe, then let's focus on things you can utilize with your 5 senses. Taste this and tell me what you think.
We'll just like time skip.
Pretty much, Sia would try to calm Erasmus down, take him back to the inn, and she would probably send a message to. I think she said she would message Max and
Yep.
would just tell him that Sia and Erasmus are going back to the inn, but we'll hang out on the patio in the entryway to our room since we can't get in with him, but they're just gonna head back there and kind of hang until the rest of them are done with their
He's
business.
so goddamn cool. He thinks I'm cool. I'm not that cool.
You are. Just breathe and focus on your snack, and she'll just pat him on the shoulder and
Mouse, what am I
feed him.
gonna do? And
We'll figure it
we'll figure it out, and we'll just turn it over to someone else.
Yeah.
Max will respond to your message saying, "Yeah, be there soon."
Nothing else. Just be there
Okay.
soon.
Yep.
Heard.
So I assume that this is going on. This is going on at the same time where the
Absolutely.
incident
That's exactly what I was about to say. As this went through, obviously that took a little more time in real time, but you guys are very concerned and busy dealing with your current situation. Now that we're caught all up and the time is synced back, what would you guys like to do? Because this is getting to be a complicated situation.
Well, we've given him where we're staying and names, and he said he'll get in touch with us, and if not, we'll see him before we leave. So I think Umbra fan, do you just want to head back to the rooms and just not talk about this?
Yeah, Umber doesn't say anything. He just nods and his hands are shaking.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Some rest
Yeah.
might be nice.
Hmm.
It's been a
Talk about
long day.
what? Yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Let's go. And Max will head back to the inn.
Perfect. All right. So, hold on. Let me.
Where's Shakulu? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she's
what I was
kind
gonna
of
say.
out.
So Shakulu, what is your character
Yes.
doing?
I'm literally just trying to get those 3 things that I sent you in that message. Just a cover
Sorry,
for
I
my.
haven't even seen it yet. Yeah.
Now you're good. A cover for my spear at some point. On like I've been thinking about that throughout this section.
I did.
It's
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
no, you're good. It's probably gonna have to be that really high class seamstress dude. So and he's busy today, so I'm willing to put that off until later. A pipe with some really high grade tobacco, and get a flask made and buy some really high grade alcohol.
all of those things you could have done easily within that time frame. So we'll go through that. The only thing with the spear is that the best thing that you have right now is this is not a perfect solution, but you were able to go to the market and someone actually sold you a very unique form of modeling clay that they sell here in Kalimport, and you are able to fasten that over the spear for now into enough clumps that it actually does work. It's temporary, meaning that as this jostles around too much, it just shreds through. You are able so it works for like 15 to 30 minutes at a time well, and then you have to like kind of attend to it. For now, it's workable, meaning that this is actually safer than what it was, because you have to understand the spear is so sharp with so many different things that you're mostly worried about this when you go to bed or something. Let's say you put the spear up and you put it against the wall. Number one, it's going to start eating into the wall eventually, and it's going to damage the wall. Number two, if it falls on you accidentally, it's going to slice you. So that's the other problem, and that's why this is a problem. And it's unfortunate this magic weapon didn't come with any kind of sheath or whatever. But the clay is a really good solution for that right now. Now you can keep it into a room, and for the most part, it's okay. It could theoretically like hit you and do very minimal damage. But the problem is it's fussy. You're gonna have to like fuss with this for a while to get this going. So it's not a perfect solution, but it is something that you would. All of those things together, it's just going to take you 5 gold. You get all of those for today.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then I'll head back to the mist. Be loitering in the hallway, since I remember I can't communicate with the party at all.
I'm gonna sit in my room with the door open on my bed.
So Gretna, I'll go through exactly what you get in more detail and stuff. But if you have the chance to not stay in your room tonight, are you taking it or not? Because the reason why that's important is because it'll depend on where you are tonight. Like, are you actually going to be back with the group?
Fuck no.
Is Gretna getting some?
Yeah, then that's fine. That
Gretna.
helps me.
Yes, get it.
Okay. All right. All right, cool. So all right. So what would you guys like to do?
Shaggle cramp for nothing.
Yeah.
I just heard Kaylee squeak across the house.
Yeah.
I'm hearing, I can hear her and CO. It's like feminism in stereo.
All right. So all right, perfect. So let's go through this though. So time is actually really, really important within this, because now that we've started a series of events, we're on a bit of where time is important. So what would you guys like to do tonight?
I imagine we'll take advantage of the dinner I've paid for and just relax, because we really haven't had the chance to fully do that yet.
Yeah, so let's skip forward to that. That's what I'm trying to say, is that all these details will end up mattering, because depending on what happens, and depending on how my mechanics go through things, we might as well just detail out like the hours. So we can skip ahead, and I don't mind that, but we should definitely play through the dinner. But
if I have time before dinner, I just want to. I have the pouch full of the crystal shards that I pulled out of myself that I wanted to give to Pan to identify if we have the time in the room.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like CO would get back and she would want to start making the bracelets from the fine threads and the charms that she got, but she would also, if Pan is available, see if Pan could help CO cut her hair.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Pan's gonna ritual cast identify on the shards, but like is going to invite like CO to be like Pan, Umbra, and CO are basically gonna be hanging out in the same room, and then once they're done with the crystal shards, they're gonna turn to CO and be like, "Okay, fashion time."
All right. So you cast ritual. These are the shards that came out of your skin, right?
Yeah, the ones that hurt
Yeah,
me.
right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you do cast identify in the shards. The shards themselves are not any kind of magic item, and it doesn't actually go off. It's not able to truly identify what this is. What it does tell you though, and you're sure of it, is that it is magic, and that it is a kind of school of magic that is foreign to the weave that you can understand. Meaning it is a school of magic outside of your comprehension.
That's the most worrying.
Yeah, so Pan will hand them back to Umbra and say, they're not a magic item, so I can't quite truly identify them, but they are foreign to this plane.
Oh, hmm. Well,
Mm.
that's. Thank you.
Now,
Um,
Sio, you're in the same room with them.
yes,
Um,
and she has a question for
yeah.
Umbra.
Well,
Willing.
so Sio, also there is something about the shards as you start seeing them too that seems vaguely familiar to you, although you
Good,
can't really
good,
put your.
good.
mu-
I
uh,
wanted to ask Umbra if I could have one.
Just slide
Yeah,
one to Sio and look away just for a few minutes while she definitely doesn't touch things with her rod.
no,
Yeah.
I absolutely you can have one.
Look over there.
I actually no, it's fine. And while Pan's sort of cutting her hair, he's gonna sit down in front of her and just kind of be like, I got your paper. I got some ink, more than enough. I wanted to ask, how are you doing?
I feel like before she answers that, she's absolutely, given the circumstance and knowing that the party, at least the ones who are present, are aware of what Rod does, she will semi discreetly try to compare the crystal of that person with the crystal of the rod, thinking maybe that's where it's familiar. Because for me, that's the only place Sio would think this crystal is familiar.
No,
Do they look similar?
no, you can't place your finger on it. It's bizarre. It's not the same there. And you go through it. Do you touch it with the rod?
Yes, that's why I wanted one.
Before,
So
because
the rod literally does nothing. It is completely inactive when you touch this with the crystal. You are surprised.
Hmm.
would you like to know where I got that? Because it's quite important. I figured you were going to do that, but when I went to buy the paper and ink, the shopkeeper turned into a crystalline figure. I don't know why.
I'm
I tried to dispel it.
sorry.
Yes, I
don't
know. I don't
think
know
I
either.
follow. How did
She
that
was
happen?
crystallized.
But
I saw it.
how did
I have no idea. She was showing us a box. She was talking a bit about the city's history, and then poof! It's like someone flipped a switch, and she turned into this. I mean,
It was very sudden.
it was very traumatizing. I tried to
Well,
dispel it, and I got a face full of those.
are you okay?
You see, he has little. They stopped bleeding now, but he has cuts all along the front of him, like he was like safety glass exploded onto him.
Umbra, I wish you had said something. I would have asked Gretna to come back with us.
No, I didn't. I just.
Pan's gonna pat Umbra on the back and cast Cure Wounds at level 4.
Yeah, I was just looking. I don't have a healer's kit or anything.
You get 30 points.
Ooh, thank you. And back up to full.
Yep.
No,
Cure Wounds was a
look,
good
I'm
idea.
fine. I'm a little embarrassed. That was my first real magic shop, and I feel like I kind of fucked it up.
I
Well,
thought you did well enough.
I don't think you did anything wrong, Umbra. I mean, you make it sound like it was something that just sporadically happened. That it wasn't something you did.
Maybe. But and you see, he's gonna kind of like sit down, and he's gonna start like going through the paper, and to kind of calm himself, he's gonna like pull out. He's gonna look at the little vials of ink and all the rolls of paper, and but this is really nice stuff. and he's gonna pull out 50 gold worth of paper, and he's gonna hand it over to Co.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've had a longer day than I have, all things considered.
Sio will. You can tell, like, since the market and everything has gone down, Sio definitely wasn't feeling it when we got into the city, but you can tell she's gradually perked up a little bit. But she'll kind of regress to a more sheepish demeanor as you say that, and she'll very carefully, like, as she sits wherever Pan needs her to kind of assess her hair situation, she'll just take her pack off and just very gently place what you gave her into it. It's been a long day for all of us, everything considered, but I'm getting through it. It's a lot to process, but I mean, we're alive. Band is alive. And that's as upsetting as that encounter and search for him was. At the end of the day, he's alive.
I
And
imagine
really,
he's
I guess that's important.
I imagine he's only going to be alive long enough for you to catch up to him and beat him to death for all that he's put you through.
Well, I hope so. I don't
Bring it
really
back
know.
afterwards.
He's alive, and I think, as upset as I am about everything, that's what I'm going to cling to for now is he's alive, and I think it'll take some time to digest everything, try to process who he's working for and what Brother has done and why he would break the code, but at the end of the day, he's okay, I think. So that's more important to me is he's alive. So
Yes, exactly. I think having
Every
a brother that's alive.
everyone sees this happen at this point. All of your crystal shards are now consumed by this very bright silver flame.
um
Um,
Umbra,
that
is that
Pan
nope.
just keeps cutting the hair.
Pan? Um
Was
I
he's pointing at you, Theo?
that's not me, and she will take the rod. Are they, like, burning up instantaneously, or are they slowly being consumed?
They actually instantaneously become all these silver flames. The silver flames don't burn anything else. They only ignite the crystals.
Mage hand touch the rod
Yep.
to flame. Please, on God, don't send me to my patron with half of my hair chopped off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, nothing happens.
That'll
Nothing
be
happens.
that'll be a look.
Nothing happens again. What's surprising to you, Co, and you don't know why, but the silver flame that this ignites into is somehow like a deja vu familiar thing, but you have no idea how or why that would be the case.
That's. Do you. Have we seen this before? And she'll just kind of squint at it and retract the rod, put it back up her sleeve. It. Kiri, do you recall where we've seen this? I can't place it for some reason.
Would I be able to make heads or tail of anything I just saw?
Do an Arcana check. Probably not, but maybe. Do an Arcana check and let's find out.
Natural 20 for a 33.
All right. So
Jesus.
your best guess at what just happened is that um so when Co touched the crystals to the rod, nothing happened. However, what you did actually glean from the crystals themselves is that they very, very slightly uh their lattice work shifted, and you could feel it magically. But again, the rod didn't light up. There was no activation on the rod, so it didn't seem like that was anything. However, now that they started to burst into an unnatural arcane silver flame, you wonder if this has something to do with the rod. But other than that, you have no idea.
I'm gonna kind of think all that out loud. Well,
Well,
you know better
that
than I would.
doesn't make much sense. Typically, if there's something of interest, the information and item is consumed, but it's not. It didn't even glow, which typically means it's not anything of innate interest.
Has she
I don't-
ever taken anything without you knowing?
No,
Without you having to. She's okay.
to the best of my knowledge, no. Typically, whenever it doesn't glow, it means it's I think she phrased it, it's mundane or something she already knows about,
I mean,
which there's a great deal she does know about, so it wouldn't surprise me.
I would think those would be right up her alley, unlike any magic I've seen before.
Well, I'm not as versed in the arcane as you, but I trust that if it was anything of interest, I would be notified. And
Strange.
at that, she'll just kind of put the rod back up her sleeve again, and with her bag open in front of her, she'll take out some of the thread. And she'll take out a little silver charm and start weaving it into just it looks like a friendship bracelet you definitely made in the 5th grade. It's not made expertly, but the material looks nice and the charm just adds a little flair to it. So it's definitely homemade, but it looks slightly nicer than average, and she's just gonna start weaving it together, interbraiding, red, silver, and black thread and take out one of the charms that she bought, and she'll just absent-mindedly be working on that as Pan cuts her hair and she chats with both Umbra and Pan.
I would like to add, just out of character, that Max is proficient with Weaver's tools.
That is
Weaver's
very good
tools.
to know.
Uh, I'm in my room. Chris.
Yep.
While they're doing all that, we have the night to like work on our own stuff, right?
Well, kind of. So one of the things that you do have the night after this happens, but one of the things that we do have to play through is Max did buy everybody a really nice dinner, and that it's important we play through it. But after that, yes, you have free
Yeah.
time.
I'm
Or
just
if you don't go, you don't go too.
I'm just working on integrating the fire elemental core into my armor for the what we talked about before, the
Yep.
fire resistance.
Yep. Yeah, do me a favor. So every time we do this, this time give me a straight up intelligence check.
You're good at those.
You can do it.
You're
Yep.
normally better at those.
14.
Oh,
So
God.
I'm gonna flash of intelligence that.
That's fine.
14.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Yeah, you go
really
through and look
bad.
at it. You don't make any kind of breakthroughs, but there are there like for now there's things that you it's just going to take you a lot of time.
Well,
But that's fine.
if it was Tinker's tools, that would be
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
that'd be a
No,
22.
this is not you going through and trying to figure out how to physically do something. This is literally you trying to figure out how to take this item and find a really good way to do this safely without things exploding like in your face. And you're going through a bunch of different plausible scenarios to do that
I'll
right
take
now.
my
It's just
time.
gonna take some time. Yeah.
I'll take my time.
Yep.
All right, that's it.
All right. But yep. So is there anything that anybody wants to do before it's dinner time?
Max would probably just be in his room, just probably seeing if he can patch up
Yeah.
his worn clothes with his tools, and then probably meditate for about an hour or so before
Sure.
heading to dinner.
Yeah, so Max, there's only so one of the things that you didn't really truly understand when he was going through this, but there is only one dinner time for this special dinner, and sure enough, you have an item on you that you didn't even realize that you took. You don't know how this is possible, but it is. And there's a very small jade ball that is in your pocket that you didn't even realize you had. And that ball starts to vibrate and move when it's time for dinner. And as soon as you reach into your pocket to touch it, you hear a whisper in your voice that says, "Sir, it is time to come to the landing up top. Please bring all of your guests."
Shall do.
Okay.
And I'll head out of my room and I'll knock on everyone's door.
Well, Umber,
And
Pan, and Theo are in a room in Umber's room, and the door's open. So
okay.
All right.
Well, I'll mention to them, to you guys, our dinner is ready. I was just informed that we should be heading up now. Are you all ready?
is Pan finished cutting Theo's hair at this point?
Yes, you done cutting Theo's hair. Yep. You don't have to make a check because I assume you're taking your time. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine
I'm
then.
making it look as nice as possible, and I'm being very careful about it.
Yep.
God
Okay,
bless you.
that's fine.
Sia went from extra long hair, like down to the beyond the middle of her back, to shoulder, not a bob, but just like a rough cut shoulder length white hair. And she's going to turn around. Like, I imagine there's a mirror somewhere, and she'll look and just like run her Gage, fuck off, all right?
I like imagining
She's
that
not
you have
Edna
like a
Node.
really, you have a really nice like undercut going on.
Yeah, no, Sio is very excited, and as soon as she sees her hair, you can tell that she's perked up, and she's gonna give you a hug, Pan, and thank you profusely for doing that for her. And
Pan's gonna put their arms around Theo and give her like a twirl. Like
Umbra will like
partially very happy to see that Theo has like perked up.
okay, high key, yes. You know, Jess really. Well, first off, I was gonna give you a compliment for that. But secondly, you know, that's just. Can we go back to bullying Erasmus?
Umber will
That's been, like,
prestidigitation
the
it
first
to make
year
it
and a half.
really, like, really nice and shiny and beautiful.
Oh.
No. Sia will absolutely do the twirl, and she'll prestidigitate, like press her clothes so they look a little nicer, because she's definitely still wearing the clothes we got from the succubus lair. And she'll just give a little twirl and just like a little flourish as she stops. And
Pan
How do
like
you like
claps
this
a little
pose?
like it's a show.
There's a stain that I can't get out with
Do
prestidigitation.
you all know where Gretna is?
oh, she's actually with a new companion. We've found another artificer.
Take it they hit it off?
Yeah, really well, actually. He invited us to see a ship. Something about finding it crashed from a mind flare. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but Gretna and him hit it off really well. So
Oh,
she
what?
said she was going to spend some time speaking with him, and I told her I would just check in with her throughout the evening. But I think it's safe to say if she's not back by now, she might be having dinner with him.
I can
That's definitely fine.
I can send her a sending right now. Do you want me to send her a sending right now that she has to respond to at this very moment?
Well, I can do that without you spending the time or energy.
Theo,
And
I think
Theo
you're misunderstanding the implications.
Oh, she is.
of-
She's absolutely
Theo,
misunderstanding.
do not send in Gretna right at this moment. She might be busy.
The problem is Theo is absolutely not going to read what you're trying to put down, and she's going to cast
Pen
something
will,
to
no, Pen will
It
stop.
sounds, it
Pen will
sounds like
stop
she
her.
has very intense hiccups. I don't get what's going on.
Max would have picked up on this right away and said, no, we'll
Theo,
leave
do
her,
not message Gretna at this moment.
I'm sure she'll be in touch with us. It's fine. She's relaxing in her own way, so it's fine. Let's leave it to it.
Does she not
She's
want
definitely
to?
distracted. She's definitely
Okay.
distracted.
I'm sure she's being
Theo's
fed right
just-
now. I'm sure she's being fed right now. Don't worry about it.
Jesus.
Okay.
Theo is very, very confused and is absolutely just going to cast a very quick sending to Gretna that says, "We're headed to dinner. How How is your evening with
No.
Captain?
You send message to her, and it's 12. You got 25 words in response, so it's 12 different versions of "oh tier, oh tier."
Shut the fuck up!
Tell me if you find out what the
Yeah.
guy's name is, because she's probably screaming it right about now.
Oh.
There you go.
That's
Yeah,
a mouthful. That's a
I will let you
mouthful in
decide.
more ways
I'll-
than
How
one.
many hours have passed since this? I mean, like, you know,
Not enough for you.
So that's the interesting thing. So it is
got a lot
now
of constitution, us little dwarves.
it is now 9. It's now 9 10 o'clock. So it's been like a good 4.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a good 4.5 hours since they left you at the
Mhm.
bar. So,
Okay. I'm
but
So just getting started.
oh, good. Yep.
She seems like
This
she's
game is never
enjoying.
getting fucking streamed ever.
God bless you, Gretna.
No, Theo hears that. Wait, is that Gretna's response?
Here's the thing, just so you guys know too. Even when the game is streamed, none of this. This is tame anyway. But you guys can do whatever you want. Don't worry about that.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Gretna's actually having her own meal with them, so I think she's fine. She would say something was wrong, I imagine, and she's
sounds
capable of
trouble.
taking care of
Theo's
herself.
just
So
trying to talk through like a massive blush on her face. And Pan's like, yeah, I
no,
agree with
Theo is absolutely like not catching on. Theo is charismatic in the sense she is very friendly. She is not keen on
Wait
romance.
to hear this in the recap next week.
Oh god, no.
Oh tier, oh tier.
Jesus.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Okay, dinner time.
Yeah. She seems fine. She's enjoying a meal.
Ugh,
She'll
damn.
close her book, not thinking twice. She really just thinks Gretna's having dinner.
I hate when the phone goes off in the mail.
Right, why don't we head to dinner?
It sounds great.
Max will just say like very, very quickly and almost. He's trying to change the subject.
Yeah, we're back in our hotel room.
He's got passive 17 insight. He knows what's going on.
Oh God. He get it.
Chris, is the refilling strawberry plate still here?
Oh, we need to talk to the owner about maybe disabling that, putting a child lock on it.
So it's going to end up being there until it's mentioned that it might not be the best thing for that to be there. And by the way, that goes for everyone in the room has access to those. So for instance, that's in the main area. It's not in your room, Erasmus. That's actually in the main
Yeah,
like
no,
living area. But yeah.
he took like 6 more and went to his room to change.
Can Kiri eat that and one of the berries, and
Yep.
we see how that
Yep.
goes?
Sure.
A drunk pseudo dragon. Oh boy.
Is
I
it?
love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm coming
Is it
back out with
affixed?
my little nice suit on, his little brown suit, with his bow tie.
Okay.
Strawberry
Aw.
juice all over his face,
Theo will prestidigitate that clean.
and he's just gonna do a bunch of poses as he comes out in his suit with his tie.
Theo's just gently golf clapping.
Pan's gonna. Did Erasmus actually eat the strawberries?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay, Pan's
Yeah.
gonna say to Erasmus, Erasmus, I'm really
Boom,
glad that you're
boom.
having a fun time. If you make a fool of us at dinner, I'm going to make your life miserable. I'm going to cast silence on you every day for the rest of my life so you can never use thunder ever again. Just remember that.
Too late. You do that all the time, anyways.
You walk into
Boom,
the
boom,
silence,
boom.
actually, so that's on you.
Why
Is-
don't we discuss this friendly over dinner?
I cast silence 20 feet away from you, and you're like, oh, there's a silence bubble. I think I should be in it.
Is the strawberry
Boom,
plate
boom.
affixed?
Max is gonna grab the door and just wait for everyone to head out. He's gonna
Right,
wait
so-
by the door.
Yeah, so-
bone
So
night.
Max, so as you guys all walk up to the stairs to the actual landing, which is the outside little place there, you notice that the table is not set up. Instead, there is, and I'll go to the stream where this is too. Yep. So out here, there's no table set up here. Instead, he's cleared all this out, and there is a very large teleportation circle glowing in the middle. And he says, "Sir, this is for you." He says, "Everyone, please step inside."
I'll take lead and step in first.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you step in first, and sure enough, you are teleported. It feels like you are falling and then rising from the sky at an insane speed, and you come back floating almost. It looks like you must be 900, maybe 1,000 feet up in the air on a stone platform. With him, by the way, he walks through as well. There is an elaborate table, elaborate round table all set up for you. You are literally floating 1,000 feet above Calimport on some kind of moat-like structure. This. As everyone starts to walk through, does
I don't
anyone not
think
walk through?
Slowfall's. I don't think
Pants
Slowfall's going to help me out here.
Pants just gonna be the last one to go through and is gonna try to
Yep.
study the sigils in the meantime.
Yeah,
Would I
Arcana
get
check.
well, cuz
Yeah,
would I get a minute of checking them out?
Yeah,
Ooh,
you can have a minute if
Well,
you want
'cause
to. I mean, you're going to be awkwardly behind everyone, but yes, you could do a minute.
I can
Yeah.
commit a new sigil sequence to memory after studying it for 1 minute.
Yep.
It's in the spell.
Yep.
It's
Yep. That's totally fine. Yep. Yep.
Can I
Yep,
also
Yep.
take a glance?
You can study it. You can study it for a minute. Is there a component cost to this?
there's a component cost to casting the spell, but like
But
that
not
in
memorizing the
that's
sigil.
no.
What I'm saying is, does it say you have to copy something down and
No.
consume something?
It just says
Okay.
you can commit a new sigil sequence to memory.
Yep. Yeah. And this is one that you could do. Yep. So
Yeah.
absolutely, you can take the minute and memorize this. And so, so you are now almost 1,000 feet above. It is not so high that the air is like hard to breathe or anything like that. And it is an unbelievable view. So you do, if you look down immediately, you do see Calimport, and very, very far away, you can actually see uh the actual Mystic Inn. So it is directly above it. This is some kind of floating permanent earth moat. Which means that the magic behind this is, of course, priceless. Now there's a very elaborate table set up. He is there with you. There are also, this is big enough. This is probably around 200 feet across. There are what looks like two waiters, and there is also what looks like a cart of some kind that looks like it has a ton of alcohol on this cart, different kind of bottles that look very, very fancy. Um, and Max, you immediately understand that this is why it must have been so expensive, and honestly, quite a deal. You wonder if maybe you can only eat here if you've gotten a room. Maybe they're even taking a loss on a dinner like this, but it's still quite amazing. Anyway, so the table's all set all there for you. The chairs are the most comfortable chairs you've ever sat in. They are carved out of wood, but whatever cushion they're using, by the way, all the cushions are purple. Whatever cushion they are using is unbelievably comfortable. That there is exactly enough chairs for all of you. Not a single. There's not one more, one less. And as you guys go through, he says, "Please, please sit, sit."
Yeah, Pan's gonna go through the portal as soon as he's done memorizing.
That's fine. Yep.
I
Yeah,
go
you're able to
through-
go in.
Yeah, I go through the portal too.
Okay.
Then when I get up to the top, I start doing a little dance. I'm happy.
Oh,
Now it is, yeah, again, this is not in any way something that would be dangerous to fall off of because it is 200 feet across, but just keep in mind that as a drunk turtle, depending on what you do, um I may make you make checks. Like if you get too close to the edge, that could be bad. So but anyway, so on the table itself is what looks like a sculpture of of some kind of simple castle, but the sculpture itself is made out of substance that looks like it's made out of butter. Um, on and then as everyone sits down, he says, "Your first course, ladies and gentlemen," and he actually like just basically snaps his finger and a flame emotes right above where his hand is, and he sets it on fire. And as it does become flammable and it just bursts into flame, it charges through. And as it does that, what ends up happening is a pile of what look like cured meats that have now been slightly like flambéed, just kind of like fall out from this thing. And then in the center of that is what looks like an incredibly elaborate cabbage of many different colors. You've never seen this thing before. And the cabbage itself has different vegetables on top of it as well. And he starts to cut those and it slices into each thing and he starts to portion this out for everyone. And this is your very first course. He explains that this is just an appetizer and he's going to let everyone talk. He does explain that this is a longer dinner. This is probably going to take 2 to 3 hours. And he says, I hope everyone's hungry. And then he brings a wine cart around, and there are there are 12 different varieties of wine, and they are actually labeled from the most expensive at the very top left-hand side to the least expensive at the bottom. And he says that even the least expensive is around a gold per glass. And what we have got today, what Max has provided for all of you is everyone gets one glass of wine.
One
Excellent.
glass per which option?
For this course,
Oh,
and
okay.
he says he hears you say that, and he says that's the beauty of this. You get to decide. Sometimes the most expensive wine is not always the best, but you can take any one you'd wish to.
I'll push my glass to CO and says, I don't like it. I don't like angry grape juice.
Uh,
So the most expensive wine is a vintage wine from Neverwinter, and he explains this, and he says that this wine is actually a private labeled cask meant only for the late royalty of Neverwinter itself. These are very, very, very hard to come by. And then what he does is that the rest of the wines are actually from the varying dells, and if somebody wants to go through the description, we can go through all 12, but that's not truly important. The least expensive one is from Daggerford. Ironically,
is there a wine associated with Thay at all? I would doubt it, but
there's not.
It's
Yeah.
depression.
There's not.
Yeah.
No, these are Dale. The rest of the wines are Dale wines. The most median one is actually from Waterdeep though, and it is like it's a private label merchant's wine that's pretty famous.
um,
Do you have any chocolate milk, sir?
He does.
your finest.
So he does. He says, we actually do have something, and you notice that what's happening is the people behind him, they're going in and out of the teleportation circle, the one that's over on the left hand side. It's around 100 feet from you guys now, and they're going in and out preparing things, and they do go through and they do come back with chocolate milk, and they pour you a glass.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
there's no stove up here at all. Everything is coming from below.
Ooh, this is
All the food.
good. This is good.
Yeah.
You got it from a brown cow.
Well, I mean, if we have the option of trying a very exclusive wine, I think I'll give it a shot.
Right. All right. Yeah, he pours you that glass. That's the Neverwinter variety. Yep.
Yep.
I would also love to try a glass from Neverwinter.
Yep. He says, of course.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
If they allow CO to also have Erastus's glass filled, she would ask for whatever is from Neverwinter, and this is just me not being able to remember right now. Luskin is outside of the Dales, correct?
There is no line from Luskin here. These are all local Dale wines except for one other Waterdeep wine.
Okay, then she'll get the one from Daggerford.
Okay. Yeah. All the varieties are incredibly rare varieties, and he explains that these are all private. The every single one that they have is not one that you could normally get. These are all either family like recipes or whatever from different dales, and then they're chosen because he believes they're the best. These are his personal favorite wines that he starts with for everyone. So okay, you do take the Daggerford one. Everyone else?
Pan's gonna ask which one he thinks tastes the best.
He says that he personally likes, and he shows you it's around the fourth one down, and he says, I'm actually commissioned to not actually tell you which Dale this is from, because God forbid they start getting unwanted visitors, but he does pour you a glass of that.
Excellent.
The next?
Shakulu, while in between stuffing his face with the cured meat and taking the occasional nibble of vegetables, will how about Waterdeep, the city of millions? I've always wanted to go there.
It's a fine choice, sir. Yes, of course. And he pours you a glass.
Good salad.
I mean, we got like
I like
a
lettuce.
chartreuse board as freaking appetizer.
That used to
might-
be inside of a buttered castle. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably not the best time to mention I'm lactose intolerant.
But you got a chocolate milk.
I'm lactose intolerant, but not lactose ignorant.
What?
Well,
I don't. In between the sips and the nibbles, Shakulu will sort of address the party, and it's like, "Well, we meet again, strangers. How's your day in the city been so far?"
Our day's been
Interesting.
eventful as I just briefly glance at Umbra and Pan.
we got some wonderful components. I got some ink.
Yes.
I got 6 copper.
Yes, I did see that performance after I finished ordering a new some new attire. The new attire that I got is it was made from, the men said it was made from, was it wyvern thread or something, Chris?
Yeah, and by the way, as you were going through and saying that, everyone now notices as for whatever reason it wasn't very clear before, but maybe it's flared up or maybe something's happened, but everyone now sees underneath them, and they can see from the horizon too, that it is truly a dome. It's a dome of just bizarre, different colored now, fiery like shell underneath the rest of the city. And this gives you an idea of how truly big Calimport is. There are probably nestled within this 12 times the size of what you're seeing outside of the city nestled within it. Calimport is monstrously huge, apparently. Um, and it starts to actually bright up the sky even from where you're at. It's very pretty from where you're seeing it, but this is the very first time that you've noticed it because it started to brighten. Um, and this is the first time that you've been here at night, so this might not be anything that's out of the ordinary, of course. It's so bright that everyone takes notice to like look to see what that is. It's from your vantage point and from the view now, though, it's breathtakingly beautiful.
Um, so talking about his clothes, Shakulu leads a bit towards Max and asks him, "Well, you look very nice, friend, but I've been meaning to ask you, where did you learn how to fight like that? I've never seen someone bend steel with their hands before."
Well, it's a long story, but to put simply, I fought in a arena in Luskan, and my master he took me in and trained me for majority of my life, and when I finally managed to beat him after probably 10 or so years, I departed from Luskan, traveled around, and not to mention he sort of whispers when he says this so that the waiters and such don't overhear. And the artifact book, the special book that we all have, that's helped me out quite a bit as well. But I got my I learnt the basics from my master.
At the mention of the book, Shakulu sort of like looks around a little nervously, but nods and right, right, and yeah, just waits for the next course of the meal.
Chris, as Max mentions Luskin and an arena, is that something CO
Yeah.
was aware of?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is something that's absolutely something that you knew about. You never went to it, CO, because you know this is not something that you would have been like.
Versed
Uh,
in.
no, well, it's just not something you would have also been a fan of, just because of the fact that this is the one thing you do know about this arena. So the criminals go there too, and worse, what'll end up happening a lot of times is that when kids are caught stealing and other things, sometimes they're also shuffled there because people think it's really funny to see thieves get the crap beat out of them or straight up murdered in this thing. So that is something you know.
What was the name of the arena again?
I don't think I don't know if you know this, Matt. I mean, so Max, you traveled to here, right?
Yeah, I traveled from Nith to Luskan. Spent majority of my life in Luskan, and then I traveled away from it.
Theo, you would have literally just known that this is the criminals arena. I don't know that you would have had to have actually like been to it to get the proper name because it's a little
Okay.
convoluted. So I don't think you would know it.
Yeah. No, at the mention of Luskin, because I feel like as soon as you pointed out the sky, I feel like Sio would be staring at that mindlessly, kind of just contemplating the whole "how the hell are we here" situation. But as soon as Max says Luskin, she would take her attention from the skyline back to him. And once he's done saying that, "You were in the criminals arena? In Luskin? Why were you ever there?"
Well, to put simply, back in my time at Nith, when I found the book, there was some writing inside the book that simply said to head to the arena at Luskan, and I tried to get rid of the book as I thought it was a silly prank, but the book always managed to find its way back to me. So after a few years of being alone after certain circumstances, I ventured to Luskan. Foolishly tried to sign up without any training, but I was stopped by a man named Yorgar. He took me under his wing, taught me many, many things alongside fighting, and um, I gained my experience in the arena, and currently to this day I am undefeated. I've won around 200 or so times and haven't lost.
That name wouldn't mean anything to Sio, would it, Chris? Since she's not in that sort of sphere.
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
Cool.
Oh,
I was
sorry. I was actually hardware muted. He says so. Right as that happens, and as you go through and finish that sentence, by the way, he does. He tells us to come over, and um, he says, excuse me, sir, I didn't, I was not prying, and I didn't really overhear the whole conversation, but I did hear you talking about Luskin, and I happen to be an authority on most of the capital cities in Faerun. That's just a secondary part of what I do. And I did overhear you saying that you were in the arena. That is quite impressive that you were competing in the Prisoners Carnival. Now
Yes.
this clicks for you, CO. You like did hear this before. That must be what it's called, Prisoners Carnival.
You may have heard of my the name I was called, Deadly Fist.
Oh.
He said, and he actually says that he says, and he looks to you, CO. He says, your friend actually he did make quite a name for himself for a couple reasons. First and foremost, he came in as a free man, which is very, very rare. and offered to partake in the games. That already made him quite a name. But he said, I had a feeling this could be the case, which is why. And I'm sorry for prying, but when you said this, yes, your name has gotten around. Anyway, I'm terribly sorry, but
it's all right. It's all right.
yeah, yeah. So Max, you heard a little bit about this before. Obviously you knew a little bit of how this works, but because other people told you this too. But quite frankly, what Max did is not common because most people do not want to get into this arena because it's mostly prisoners. Anyone can join if they want, and Luskin will take like entertainment off anyone. Most people are forced into it, and this is how you prove you're innocent for a lot of people, including thievery. Even when people saw you steal, it's basically a God sort them out kind of justice system, where that maybe you saw it wrong, or maybe they were stealing for reasons that were justified. And so that's why this whole thing exists. The captains basically invented this. And and you kind of became famous because you went in there, Max, with just being completely blameless, and you just were like, I want to do it anyway. So yeah.
Chris, from a narrative standpoint, would any of the orphans CO lived with have been sent there or been threatened to send there? Or is this just something in passing to the server?
Many were threatened to be sent there, but fortunately for you, none of them did. You heard stories of some that do get sent, they don't make it. 16-year-old kids that go into this arena are dead.
Yeah,
They don't
that's
make
what I
it.
was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, granted, you do have to be 14 or older to get into this, but there are 14-year-olds that'll take that chance because in Luskin you get your hand chopped off if you're caught
yeah,
stealing. So it's
yeah. I feel like as soon as the waiter interjected and said that, CO's look goes from curious, not knowing that Max also had ties to Luskin, to concerned, like not a look of concern where she's upset with Max, but a look of concern in the sense that she's sad thinking about that place.
yeah. Max brought a lot of criminals to justice. Now, Max, it is I will let you decide. Um, Ultimately, if you ever took the life of any of them or not. All of them were trying to kill you. Every single fight is a fight to the death. You do not actually to win. You don't have to kill people, and if you decided to not kill all of them, that's perfectly within your right. So.
No, Max didn't kill any of them. He just left them. He was Batman. He left them very, very badly injured.
Yep, that's fine. No, that's totally fine and unconscious.
Did you
of
just
course,
call
yeah.
yourself Batman?
Yeah.
D&D Batman
Well,
confirmed.
That's part of
They
Matt.
didn't have
That's
that-
part
they
of
didn't
why
have that
Matt.
in Australia?
That's
Batman
part of
Fighting
why Matt.
style.
Yeah.
He doesn't kill. He just beats them to the point where they wish they were dead. You know.
So that makes the most sense to me too, because this is how your name would have gotten out, because you did, of course, rise through the carnival. But also, people started building this narrative that you were there to dole out true justice. That because everyone that you fought must have been guilty, and this was basically Luskin's, the multiple gods that are inside of this, including Cyric, supposedly, that's in this, is basically the way of saying that you were dealing out true justice, and that would be your building narrative to all that anyway. So that does make
Mm.
sense.
What was your name again?
Deadly Fist.
Deadly Fist.
Fist mage, got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
No, I feel as soon as Max says that, CO would give you a very concerned look, but again, in the sense of sadness, thinking about that place, and she would take a long sip of either of the wines that she has. Well, I'm glad to see you came out of it.
That's
They
cool.
threatened to send a lot of our orphans there.
It was hardly unscathed, and he does. You've noticed whilst you've traveled with Max, but like he's got numerous amounts of unhealed scars across his body, and yeah, it wasn't a fun time, but at the time it was basically my way of living.
Now,
And
guys, FYI, it is. I'm gonna let you obviously finish this portion. This is actually much longer. And it's important we finish through it. So unfortunately, um, after this, we'll have to break it since it's 10:30, unless people have like an hour to go through. But just keep that in mind. And Greta, I'll do your thing soon too, so you can at least get your information.
I've got
We
an
can do
hour.
it. We can do it next week if you want, or separately
That
if you
that's
want.
that's fine too. Yeah, that's totally fine. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to do. I mean,
I
if
got
everyone
time.
has an hour, I'm fine doing it. But everyone might not. Like, what does the group think?
Oh
I'm
yes.
good. I'm good.
I'm good.
I could do like half an hour. I don't know how much of a difference that would make.
It's fine, guys. If not everyone can do it, it's totally fine. We'll pick it up. We'll pick it up next time. We'll pick up right where we're going through. But let's finish off what Max was doing first, and at least get that. It's going to be course by course. Surprisingly, this is important. You'll see. But for now, we won't start the second course until next session. But Max, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a tough time getting through all that, but I definitely couldn't have made it alone. And Co, you did say that you were from Luskin, is that correct? When we first met.
Well, I was born in Neverwinter, but when I was 8, my parents moved us there. We ended up living in the slums, running a halfway house. But after we lost my parents, Vand and I mean, we lived amongst the different orphans of Luskin. That's the only way I know of the Colosseum is a lot of them, as Vand and I were joining, and sadly, even after we joined and started to corral them, we faced the option that a lot of the people we grew up with could have been sent there. If it wasn't for the fact that Vand worked for one of the ships, he probably would have been sent there a time or two. So thankfully, no one I know was sent there, but from what I've heard, it was a death sentence for an orphan to get
Yeah.
sent to the Colosseum. When you're 14, you're scavenging for scraps on the street, and justice is as justice does. You lose a hand or you die trying to defend yourself in an arena with criminals. It's not kind to kids on the street, but Band and I were able to corral them, try to stifle sticky fingers and such like that. But a few orphans we knew of who went there, they um they never came back. And she'll just take a long sip of her wine at that and kind of just drop it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I I like to imagine that I was an inspiration to the orphans there. My my name would be spread about the town, and uh, when I would walk around and such, I occasionally drop by the um, orphanage and just entertain the kids every now and then. As I myself am an orphan, and at the previous orphanage in Nith, where I escaped from, let's just say that something happened there that I'm not in the right mind to talk about. Um, but I know how rough they can be, and how scary it can be to feel powerless, especially when you're so young. And I think half the reason why I wanted to learn to fight and I guess uh, continue to grow stronger was to be like I guess a symbol or something, a light that kids and those in similar situations could look at and bring a bit of hope into their lives, you know, and just tell them that it's not impossible to, I guess, try and get to where I was, but it's definitely not easy, but show that it is possible. And the other half was for myself, really. I'm afraid of being weak. I'm afraid of letting down those I care about. Max takes a not as big a sip as Theo did, but a sizable sip of his wine. And,
Yeah,
and yeah, I look at all of you guys, Gretna included, and I see quite a lot of potential in you all. I mean, I'll never be able to master the arcane like you're able to, Umbra, and I'll never be as much of a genius as you are, Erassus.
Plenty of
And
I could never hope to do.
and I'm just trying to find my own way in this world, and I feel like you guys are quite a good reason for me to keep growing stronger.
Well, then, here's to our futures, our paths individually and together, I guess. And Sia will just raise one of her glasses.
Well, let's not get so sentimental. We got a lot of dinner left to go. Still.
I raise my
I,
glass.
I raise my glass,
believe
I
it'll
clink it
get
against
much more
Theo's.
sentimental.
All right. Sure. Fuck it.
Raise my glass.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, we will end it on that note. And we will start right from here where everybody makes their toast. By the way, and I did just because I got a message about this, but the truth, guys, I want you to know this. It doesn't actually like there is nothing that's off limits for me personally. So know that I don't like there's no like age limit here or anything. Don't worry about any of that. Second edition in the essence of this entire thing is all built on like fucking heavy metal and all. Like literally, I'll give you an example. No one knows this yet, but the whole campaign is built on the like. So essentially, there was a reason why those '80s moms actually had like its true satanic, like panic, like cultish like vibe through D&D, and it's not. It's what makes, in my opinion, D&D awesome. But literally, in our campaign, there is a god that uses her own children as concubines, even though they happen to be 1,000 years old. And when she grows tired of them, she literally takes them to Demiplane and consumes them and
I
eats
wonder
them
who
Is
live.
that
that
is.
Tiamat?
Right.
Yeah.
So it is actually Tiamat. So that's the thing.
I
Like,
would worship
there's
that
nothing.
bitch.
There is
Yeah, really.
nothing that's truly like as long as it's canon, there's nothing to do. So no one has to be concerned or whatever. Obviously, you guys can do whatever you want. The only thing is, obviously, if somebody's getting uncomfortable, whatever, you just be able to read the room there and go through that. But no, you guys can literally do anything. There's no limits on this, so just know that. And it doesn't matter about a streaming or anything, so don't worry about any of that. So
Yeah, like even 2 sessions ago, freaking Demon just pointing at Max, going, "Haha, your mom got raped, nerd,"
yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
we
the
determined.
true second edition lore that goes all the way up, and you guys will see. That's what makes it incredible, in my opinion, because it makes it semi-realistic. The stuff that all the stuff with Mordecai, like all of it is very, very great in my opinion. But it's also like it's got an edge to it, like because it's got that realistic fantasy realism thing where like lots of like awesome things do happen and good stuff happens, but lots of terrible things happen too, and you balance all that
Yeah.
out. So yeah.
Wait until we go to a Hoi Hoi. It's about to get very rated R.
What the fuck?
Every
So.
summer, all the turtles come back that are getting ready to make more turtles, and they just go
Oh.
to the beach together.
A torgy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
like 1,000 turtles at once.
Yeah. So.
Oh, gee,
Literally the
nice.
Futurama episode with Zoidberg. Wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. It's about that. Well, Max was salad, so who's gonna be soup? Who's gonna spill their life story over soup?
Ugh.
Ooh,
Cool.
Chris,
Umbra
Yeah.
seems like a
Yep.
soup kind of guy.
I
I
do
love a
have one
soup.
question.
Yeah.
Max being in Luskin would have been while CO was in the Tomb of Horrors because we were gone 50 some years.
That is absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
CO's playing along. She imagines you meant it when you were like, "Oh, I visit the orphan." She's like, "Sure."
Oh yeah. No, no.
Vans would have maybe fucking known you. I don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, the funny thing is Max really doesn't know that either. Like Max doesn't really understand any of like he doesn't even know that you guys, you know, he doesn't know any of that. So yeah.
Max
No,
is
we
like,
haven't
yeah,
taken the time to explain.
Max is like, yeah, I went to the CO Landermall like Memorial Orphanage.
Yeah.
I mean, it burned
What?
down 7 fucking times. Who fucking knows?
What?
You're not responsible.
Yeah, it burned down. My brother told me, he's like, "Yeah, I tried to build the orphanage like 6, 7 times. It kept burning down."
Well,
Shocker.
Luskin's one of those other places too. Luskin's pretty fucking metal. Like Luskin not only has the Prisoner's Carnival, but it also is the only place with a straight up canon sex death cult and a bunch of other like really metal things. Luskin is
TMS
by
City?
far like yeah. Yeah, so Luskin has some shit going down. Luskin's probably the worst place to ever grow up in all of Faerun. It's probably Luskin.
I can,
Yes.
I can think of a couple worse places.
I found out the hard
I
way.
don't
She
know.
almost died
I
at
don't
the
know.
tender age of 10 from getting stabbed.
Yeah.
It
A
happens.
lot.
Honestly, I think you're better off in
Bad.
Thay. I think you're better off in
You're
Thay.
better off
You're
in
better
Thay.
off in you really are. You're better off in Thay because at least in Thay, like there's other things too that were built by Gygax that Wizards took out. So I'm not going to include them as canon, but they were fucking like metal, like worse than metal actually. It was like holy shit, dude. But yeah, there was some interesting stuff in Luskin.
They were alloy.
Yeah. Yeah, Wizards couldn't even keep them in. They couldn't even keep the franchise and keep them in, so they like kind of like whitewashed that because that was the first thing that Gygax worked on. Like he Gygax technically left like as Forgotten Realms was like blossoming and everything. He kind of like left during that point, and the stuff he put in Luskin was like crazy shit. Like it was like he actually had
He said, "Fuck you, Greenwood. Have fun with this."
pretty much like it was like really like if they had released it they might have even gotten in trouble. Like it was like what? But anyway, so they obviously took all that out, so I'm not including it. But the
So-
yeah, there was some crazy shit in there.
Umbra's next. Umbra's soup.
You don't want to hear my backstory while eating. You don't want to hear my childhood memories while eating a soup.
Yeah, yeah. I read Half Blood Prince. I pretty much have it down.
Jesus. Well-
so, yeah, Umbra's soup.
Breakfast.
Who is like formal appetizer?
I thought we already had an appetizer.
No, it's there. Have you ever had a 7-course meal?
No.
Nope.
Who's it? I mean, I'll totally do my backstory over a soup, but
Yeah,
You
guys
have
don't
been
know how many
warned.
courses it is, but I will warn you, it's many. But yeah.
All right, so next session is the true RP session we've been thinking
Soup.
about.
Finally.
Soup session.
everyone is sober and sitting.
No,
Well, so here's the
for it.
thing.
Far.
Now,
Just keep in mind, guys, we don't actually have Gretna. But Gretna, I'll do your thing separately. We don't have Gretna.
Gretna's backstory isn't much to you know. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can do pretty.
Theo
quick.
will message Gretna throughout supper. It's like, hey, Gretna, we have this fantastic question. What's your 2 truths and a lie?
just-
around-
Did you hear the sound?
Oh.
I don't know what Theo. I feel like we already know Theo's backstory.
Well,
Yeah.
look,
Hell,
it's more than just brother trouble
No,
now.
No, it's not.
we've experienced enough of it. I don't
Yeah,
think
we've
people want to
experienced-
ask.
We've experienced enough CO for a while.
Oh, you don't want to ask about her pack that she made when she was 10, bleeding
No.
out
Never
in the back
enough
alleys of the
Theo.
street?
No, we need Chikulu and we need Pan.
you have
We
a
know nothing about
pact.
them. We know nothing about
Yo,
Chikulu.
let-
We know
let-
nothing about Chikulu, and we know
let me-
everything about CO.
Fair
Intro
enough.
Pan's thing, please, because like Shakulu, like from what I've seen, Pan doesn't like he doesn't know what Pan's deal is. She doesn't like talk enough for him to even get a read on
Yeah.
her.
So
He has no idea. He's really
That's the-
interested in Pan.
That's the exact
just
same
saved her
thing
from a
that
cave.
Max.
That's an
all.
ongoing
That's
thing.
the exact same thing that's in Max's notes. I've got notes about.
I do want to say,
sort of
that's
all of you guys, and Pan is just she's a weird one. I'll say that much.
I do want to say that is something I do want to try and work on more. I have realized that I've been quieter than I should be. It's not Pan, that's purely Amanda just not talking as much as she wants.
Well, I'm gonna try to give you that opportunity next session because we're finally know each other as a
Sitting.
party,
When
and
I
I
say
love it.
wants, I mean more. I keep getting distracted because I try to type notes in the middle of the session, and it's like 20 minutes passes as I'm typing, and then I'm like, oh right, I'm supposed to be participating in stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, and exactly. And by the way, there is no like minimum. Like, obviously, you can interact as much as you feel like interacting. Don't feel like you have any pressure to do whatever. But
It's more like interacting is
yeah.
the fun part, you know, like being in
True,
characters,
yeah,
like the
very
whole
true.
reason why we meet up and do all this stuff.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Two panic attacks in one session.
Yeah.
And even
Oh
if
my
it's only
God.
funny
Those are
interesting.
rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up.
My favorite thing, everyone's like, "Oh, what's Arasa gonna do? What's Arasa gonna do?" That wheel is an eighth of an inch smaller than the other three wheels. Fuck
Very,
them.
very
So,
Amy Santiago of you.
so Gretna, what we'll do is we'll go through your stuff. You will have an opportunity. You'll see when we go through your stuff, you'll have an opportunity to come back and meet up with them. But you may not take it, so it'll depend on what she decides. So.
Okay.
I will also probably change some of the names if I'm telling my backstory in public.
In public.
In public.
Yeah.
I was not
'Cause
drunk in public. I was drunk
I
in
was-
a bar, and
I
then I
think-
got tossed out into public.
Into public. That was that's a old Ron White joke.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Extremely old.
Yeah, that's a blue collar comedy tour.
Yep.
Like
I used to watch
2004
those
joke.
so often.
My Nana has them on VHS.
They call me Tater.
Here's your sign.
This is my son, Tater Tot.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll see
Hey.
everybody later.
I think
Yep,
the only
have a good
thing I
night,
know
guys.
Erasmus is
Have a good night.
Right?